We're going to welcome back to the Challengers Elite mainstream here as we shift over to the North American region. The final matches of group play before we start looking at the knockout and, of course, the playoff bracket. My whole shift with me, Visions and Infinity, as we dig on in for our two matches tonight. Gentlemen, how are we feeling? Feeling refreshed after our insane EU region earlier today?
Oh, yes. I'm feeling great, Al. I'm feeling good, man. And we got some crazy matches earlier. We got some more lined up here for us tonight. So we're getting to the end of the stage for number 2. And yeah, man, I'm absolutely hyped to get into it again.
Brody, how you feeling out there, my dude?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. It's it's midnight here. I've had my coffee, so I'm feeling pretty buzzed.
Nice.
I'm ready to get into these North American matches, of course. As I said earlier on, it's the last day of week 2, and that means it's essentially the last day of round robin. It's going to be really interesting to see where these North American teams do end up, because of course we already know that 2 teams are eliminated here.
I'm loving the feeling that you're getting like this little coffee invigoration coming through. I can like tell in like the timbre of your voice that like you're wired, you're ready to go. I love that. Let's take a look to see where exactly we stand when it comes to the North American region, though. One of the big things to kind of keep in mind in the first place is the fact that both Hire and Aerial Arise will not have the opportunity to get out of relegation today, simply because there just weren't enough wins, unfortunately. So we already know who's going to be out from the contention of getting into playoffs, and of course the main prize at the end. And at the top, Fantastic Four and Easter sitting in a good position, but everybody else can really kind of toggle their positions around depending on the results from this evening. Vision specifically, I mean, a little bit of a surprise, unfortunate the Aerial Arise, they came through the winner's bracket of the qualifier, didn't drop a single series to qualify here, not quite able to find a single series once they got here, and some questions I think about Hire overall, but the rest of the field pretty evenly matched, all things said.
Rest of the field's completely evenly matched. I feel like this is another situation where a lot of these teams can overcome the other, especially when we get towards playoffs, just because we see Fantastic Four and Easter at the top, and they could end at the top doesn't mean they're going to, be at the top as we get towards the end of the playoffs. So I feel like there is still a lot that can kind of change around and come through here for us. We are switching in towards a newer meta coming in towards the stage. I feel like teams are getting a lot more comfortable, and I think a good example of that would be a team like the Subliners Academy, who have taken 4 wins in a row, moved themselves up towards third place, and can maybe even look to lock in that spot or further, seeing how they actually play their last match tonight.
And Infinity, I mean, again, a lot of that middle of the pack still kind of fighting and vying for position. Built by Gamers, unfortunately, they dropped 2 matches yesterday. Wester kind of in another weird spot. Where's your eye kind of tilted when it comes to these top 6 teams overall?
Ooh, so I'm going to throw a curveball here, and we'll talk more about this later on. I think UT Crew has the most interesting storyline here because, you got to remember that they are still the same roster they were in stage 1. They did not have a good week 1, and a lot of that comes down to effectively, I mean, again, we'll get into this more in depth later on. They made an attempted roster change before stage 2. Of course, then they reverted back to their roster. That, in addition to a meta change, of course, with the QBZ coming in as now the primary weapon really here in the North American region. I think it threw UT Crew off, but yesterday they were wired in. They looked really good, and that makes me very excited to see what they're able to do on the final day.
Well, like you mentioned, that's going to be one of our matches that we will eventually see today, but it won't be until we get to our second overall slot. We're going to start things off talking about Wester and Built by Gamers, both teams sitting at 3-3 as you saw. That's coming up next. And then we will close out the regular group stage portion of the second stage for NA Challengers by completing it with a UT Crew and Easter matchup. Shoutouts to Easter for making their own Twitter today. We were joking around that there needs to be a Norther and a Souther and then a Midwester for the next time through. We could just classify all 8 regions and get them going with the R's at the end. But taking a look specifically here, Visions, we mentioned BBG 0-2 yesterday. Candidly, GodRx said not exactly the greatest COD they've played in a while.
No, it definitely wasn't, and I think that's fair to say, but there is also something to consider about this roster. 3 out of the 4 players were in the CDL last year, so I feel like these guys are absolutely phenomenal. If we do take a look at their stats for as far as that first stage, things also didn't go great here, so this is almost like a redemption run for them to see if they are in fact going to be able to kind of get up to that level that we highly expect of them. And you do look at, some of these players and what they bring to the overall game. You have GodRx, who was absolutely insane for the first half of the game before COVID had kind of hit right through Modern Warfare, and that shows throughout his stats for as far as the hard points and the controls. He's able to bring a lot to the table. There's a lot of slaying power, a lot of control that he just has on the map, and I feel like that paired with Kismet and Pentagram, 2 really aggressive subs, it should be working. It should be coming together. These guys found a cup win in 7. They got 3rd in the open, so they have absolutely been consistent, I'd say, as the last couple of months, but can they be consistent every series, I think, is really the big problem that I have at the moment, and well, we'll have to see if they can maybe do that today for us.
And if any kind of talking more about BBG and their statistics as a full squad, yeah, 3-3 currently, but their 3 wins are all versus teams at the bottom of the pool, and their 3 losses are all versus the teams at the top of the pool. So maybe a little bit of a shakeup as far as where they actually stand kind of in the tier list, if you want to call it. Anything kind of rattle your brain when it comes to that statistic alone?
Yeah, I mean, I will say one thing, right? I mean, BBG, they were quite blatantly disappointed yesterday on Twitter. We saw tweets from the team saying that they didn't have a good game, but you lost to New York Subliners Academy and Fantastic Four. Those are, regardless of whether or not close matches, I mean, it's not like you expect to lose them going in, but you shouldn't be disappointed coming out of it. I mean, they're really, really good teams. And we know the quality of the standard of play here in North America is great, especially when you come up against those teams. I don't think it's that terrible that Built by Gamers are in this position. I think it's par for the course for this roster. They are a very good team. Now, though, they go up against this Wester squad. And honestly, I would say BBG, they have a chance here because, of course, this Wester team, it is effectively in the roster here.
Sure is. I mean, we'll talk more about it, but we are jumping in for a raid hardpoint first and foremost. It'll be Visions and myself taking over from here. Infinity will catch you on the flip. And just to kind of go back to Built by Gamers from yesterday, they did play up against Subliners Academy here, Austin, and it was only a 2-point game that they lost. So, again, just kind of tidy up some stuff, clutch things up, and you're good to go. We'll see if they can kind of correct some of those mistakes as they jump into this first hardpoint here on raid.
That's right. They played them close, but they have to get some wins here, and we'll see if they can, in fact, do that. I'm going to be looking at Kismet, I think, so far in this series. He's been the player so far on this year, Alan, that has been able to step up at really important moments. So we'll see if that, in fact, happens for us. As we look at the game, Wester, nice little start. Zaptius also able to work in towards the back, and despite spawning on the unfavored side, they're able to get a good amount of control coming in towards P1, as well as playing for the launcher control and already making an early rotation to P2.
And for Wester, just not only are they in a good spot positionally on the hard point and for the next coming up, but you also got to keep in mind, just, narratively, you're looking at Parasite, of course, a couple of weeks played with London now back into the Wester hands. And beyond that, of course, we also mentioned the fact that there were a handful of roster changes. Wester's kind of looking like the gateway between the CDL and Challengers right now. It's like you come out of the CDL, you find yourself on Wester. You want to go into the CDL, you better have been on Wester. So Parasite and Temp are recent to the roster, but doesn't seem to be slowing them down whatsoever here early, as they're up now 30 points, and they're still in a really good position to lock down the kitchen, at least initially.
They are. Pentagram wants to try and get in here. Gets good help there from GodRx, who has a bit of a slow start, but gets that first kill on the board, and it's an important one. They don't have full control in towards the back. You can see player 6 off screen is going to be Glow Frosty, while his teammates actually hit this from the front. So can they now create a pinch? Glow Frosty says, yes, I can. One more player inside of money. GodRx will fall, and that will be an effective break as things flip out, but it will have to be Wester trying to find a push through, getting this time, as well as making a rotation towards basketball.
Scrap time should be good and locked in of the 15 seconds that Wester find themselves in the kitchen. But as you mentioned, 4 pink arrows already over towards the garage. Parasite didn't like the look of it, has actually backed himself into Jim. And while Panda and Pentagram are just absolutely hounding, waiting for him to show himself, and as soon as he does, the elimination will be there. So Temp is now going to be the next person up. Glow Frosty working the opposite angle, so a potential for Wester to block the spawns of BBG, which they should successfully do. And now that the flood is coming in, it's up to GodRx to try to pop off. Finds himself 2. Not a lot of shots left from the QBZ, and apparently not enough to get the final elimination, but BBG close here. They're already getting themselves in for a contest, and they've actually worked themselves in for a favorable spawn.
GodRx very well just stayed to this garage hill here for them, because if he didn't find that 2-piece at least, you could just see Wester inside the point, probably getting the majority of his time. So now they're able to stabilize. They come out with the trades because of that close spawn, and this could be now massive time over towards Built by Gamers to not only get back in the game, but actually take some control. And Kismet already thinking about this rotation. He's going to start to make his way through the pull side. Finds himself a kill, trying to be a little devious as he actually now repositions in towards the middle of the map. Finds Zaptius. Can he find a second? Almost. That could have played the difference for as far as winning this rotation as well. However, a couple players already able to kind of come out of that garage hill and start making their way towards next.
And Parasite just locking down the long route over through what was their first hard point, but BBG, they spawned right underneath bedroom, and there are not a lot of Western members that are here. It's just 2 players from the front, but Built by Gamers have not really made their approach known as of yet. Will Frosty inside the little shed, able to try to keep his life, try to finesse for as long as possible, but help just is not here. Built by Gamers, they're able to break through way too cleanly, and you kind of wonder about Wester, why'd you take so long to get over to try to contest this hard point?
That's a little bit troubling. I mean, there was a big focus up top, and breaking from the front is sometimes what teams opt in to do. Built by Gamers, they do it perfectly. Parasite's in this position where he feels like he needs the challenge, but he's not really waiting for his teammates. He's still got a massive stack inside the point. And Built by Gamers, that last hill on this one, this actually gives them now a lead going in towards what will be our very last hill for this first set of rotations. And you have Pentagram, who's on 7 in a row. He's got himself a streak working towards the second. 16 and 16. He's also almost got 2 minutes of hill time here, Alan, as it is going to be the artillery coming in.
Yeah, I love that he uses this here. The unfortunate thing about it was that Pander, who was trying to convert on the space up by the statue, did get taken down before the streaks were even called in. So it actually comes up a little bit empty, but the timing was good. Doesn't matter. He's also got a cruise missile. Pentagram to the SMG for 3 in a row. Put him on double digits for the streak. And BBG, they get a clean break at basketball, and even more polished one here in the Rock Garden.
This is unbelievable. I mean, Pentagram can keep on going. And think about this. It's all in the hill. He's got 2 minutes of hill time while on this 10 spree. Player right beside him. No problem. Gets help from GodRx, who picks up 2. BBG, they have been absolutely phenomenal the last 3 hills. They're on the rotation towards next. Western need to win this. Pentagram still making moves. 11. Will he find 12? Yes, he will. Pentagram goes for 13. It's finally Parasite that shuts him down. But Western have gotten very little time on the back half of these hills, and they need to convert on P1.
No, it's Pentagram has left the lobby. Pentagoat has joined the lobby. He is looking undeniable. Nice little bend, but does not actually connect with the players up top, as it may have just caught the ledge just a touch, but nearly 100-point lead, and a lot of it just because Pentagram decided to pop off for about 2 straight minutes. And now you've got an opportunity where BBG, yeah, you would love to contest this time here in the statue, but you've got win conditions all over the place by just holding on to the rotation over to Kitchen that's coming up in the next 30.
Kismet also getting involved, and this is just such good time. You're in this position now where you can start playing for scrap time and you can come out ahead with a win, because Wester have to start contesting just about every single point because they're down now by so much, almost looking at about 100-point differential. Pentagram still playing and toying with Parasite up top Art, but Zaptius finds a bit of an opening, and Glow Frosty now with a route maybe on towards the back of the spawns behind Kitchen. It's GodRx going to be playing defense here with Pentagram. Shots come through. Glow Frosty will get sticked, and it's actually going to be a team kill because he pushes up the steps in time. So that gives a bit of room now for Parasite also to play for a potential battle up against Pander. He's got a read on the spawns. It's Kismet and Pentagram trying to work with them. Good little bait switch as they're going to control the spawns and now start to work slowly in towards the point.
These breaks have been so fluid for BBG, or at least the attempts were. This time they try to play for the spawns first. Still 40 seconds to go, so there's an opportunity still to stage for another hit. Will Frosty wants to deny Kismet the opportunity to penalize from inside of money. And he does find 1 kill, but finds himself exiting right into the waiting arms of a Pentagram. So that will be nothing's where BBG can get in from the front, but the problem is they didn't really have proximal spawns to reinforce that hit, and eventually Wester will overwhelm. Now we turn our attention over to the rotation to P3. A couple members for BBG already here, but Temp, big 1v1 win has opened up some space through Art for Wester to get here with numbers.
Big moment here for Wester, and Zaptius, oh, he turns on Pentagram after him being so hot, but it doesn't matter because the trade's there. That looked like a moment where he might have been able to kind of take over and maybe make a move inside of Garage, but you need this time if you're Wester, and you have now lost the rotation, at least for now, but they have a chance to be able to break on through Jim, and it's going to be Pentagram here once again in the point. Gets help from all of the ARs. Pander finds 3 off screen. Pander actually just found all 4 off screen. No, give him the wipe. Big multi-kill here for the AR player. That's going to create some space, and this is a big 35 seconds that Wester need to somehow break.
You cannot allow this to go over for free. They can't win the game, but they'll be within a couple of seconds. So now you're in desperation mode for Wester. Pander holding really far forward by the left side of the water fountain, able to find his 5th straight kill. over 230 it goes. Wester's attempt to break is going to have to come down to a 1v1 with Parasite off screen, in which he does win the first. But GodderX turns around, goes back to the hill, and makes sure the scrap time is still good for BBG. So now, Glow Frosty, he's the one really responsible to see if Wester can extend this map. He's the only player inside the hard point for now. Temp will get a read on BBG's hit around the back, which should be enough to likely block the spawn. So maybe not. Number 7 and Temp spawns right back in, so he's going to have to deal with these players through jungle, and he can only find one of what needed to be 2.
Now you have to just get one break. Just take your time here. Built by Gamers, they have a massive lead. Kismet going to do a little slide across, but Zappius does catch him, but it gives room for Pentagram, and well, who other to do it? It's the young gun on 4 once again, 32 and 15, 3 minutes of hill time. One last push, and Pentagram is just lining him up, knocking him down. I wish he went a second longer, Alan. He might have gotten all 3, but 250, 154 will be the tally for map 1.
I mean, you want to talk about why GodderX tweeted what he did. We were talking about how, yeah, you're playing up against some pretty tough opponents, and the maps were close. They're saying we want to win this thing. Coming off week 1, they were the top squad at NA in the standings, and you're seeing maybe exactly why. I mean, that is just a walking highlight reel of a game for Pentagram, flat out. I mean, pick your poison there, play of the game algorithm, because you had many plays to pick from. But that's an electric start. This Built by Gamers roster, one of the big things to kind of keep in mind is the fact that they have stuck together even through trial and trepidation. They come back through, and that is some of the best Hardpoint that we've seen them play as a roster yet. I mean, everyone plays well. I mean, let's be honest, 3 minutes worth of hill time going double positive is not a common sight by any means.
That's just... you can't even find
How
the
do you
words,
even
right?
commentate
You can say
that?
phenomenal, fantastic, like perfect, like throw them. It doesn't matter, because it was just one of those games that you're probably always going to remember as a player, and I'm glad we get to kind of look over them again, because this is a moment where the game is extremely close, and you have to remember the hills actually previous towards this one, the game was in control by Wester, but it's Pentagram's 11 to 12 spree here that gives them a lot of that room, and he has just an absolute impact on this game that allows Built by Gamers to collect a lot of the time off this one as well, and it just feels like Wester get little to no points ever since we moved towards that garage hill on P3, and it just continues to get out of hand, right? A lot of big individual moments take place here, and Built by Gamers, I'm sure, on top of the world after coming away with a performance like that.
Yeah, it's... where do you start? Where do you end? I mean, it's all good. All of it is good. And, you know, it's not even just the fact that Pentagram is able to do what he did. I mean, you look across the stat lines right there. I mean, Kismet, sure, -4. Go ahead and tally him on that, but he's got a minute and 10 plus worth of hill time as well. Everybody else is also just evenly slaying across the board. It's just a good collective team effort. And like you mentioned, when the game gets tight, you're looking for somebody maybe to just show up and give you that little edge. Pentagram says, you know, hold my adult beverage. I'll give you more than just a little edge. I'll go for 2 straight minutes. So really exciting stuff right there from BBG to start things off, but do not rule out Wester, especially with what's coming up next, because their search and destroy has been by far, I would say, their best mode. Maybe you can make an argument for control overall, but their wins when they win in search and destroy are dominating. They're suffocating. They don't let anyone even get to see the light of day when it comes to the search, and that's where exactly they'll have to go to if they want to bounce back and tie up this map series early.
I can see the squad being pretty strong when it comes to S&Ds in general. I mean, you got to shake up in towards the roster, so you may be going over a lot of the strategies that you originally had when we had Venom and Paul X, you know, kind of on this roster here with them. But I feel like Zappius will play a massive role for as far as someone who is going to be pretty vocal about calling a lot of these plays, going over a lot of these plays, and we know, of course, what Parasite brings to the table when going over some of these strategies, being able to tweak them ever so slightly to just make it more advantageous for them, whether they're on the attack or the defense. So I'm actually really excited to see what Wester's kind of got prepped here for us. And Built by Gamers, I think this is where it's kind of been difficult for them in a lot of S&Ds. I think there's been a lot of series that have went towards those map 5s that they've just fell short in, right? That haven't been able to maybe clutch those ones out, whether that was stage 1 or whether that's been the cups or the opens. It's kind of always been their crux, and it is kind of tough to get over. So this would be a really important win, I think, to come through here for Wester, kind of set the tone. Remember, they are playing for seeding, and you want to have the best possible position before going in towards playoffs, and do not want to start 2-0 down heading in towards what would be a control raid. So this is a big map here for Wester to bounce back on.
And it's one of those things as well that you have to kind of remember that this is essentially a new roster for Wester as of literally days ago, hours ago, if you want to even be more dramatic about it, because Temp has not had a chance to really largely play with these guys. I even saw Glowfrosty at one point in time yesterday was saying, look, we're just kind of running around the map right now. Like, we don't really know 100% what we're doing. We've got a new AR player essentially flexing in the form of Parasite. Temp is now going back over to an SMG flex. So it's one of those things that there is a lot to figure out, not just off of what maps they like, but of course, like what roles everyone's going to be running and how do you make those roles feel successful. So I don't know. I feel like to a certain extent, the common person out there would sit there and say, you got to hope that Glowfrosty and Zap can come to play. Give Parasite and Temp just a little bit of breathing room. I know they're not bad players. They're definitely not true. They're great players, but to get back in the mix of learning the system, feeling what these guys want to be able to do in the map and how you can just be inserted into that system, you're hoping that Glowfrosty and Zaptius can really show up. So that's kind of where I'm turning my attention. But that all said, going to Miami, you kind of have to make the discussion point happen that Parasite and Glowfrosty are going to be running 2 ARs at least. They're going to be the ones to largely be able to read that information as far as what's offense or defense does make a difference and make sure that the team as a whole can collectively execute off that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at going into this next Miami Search and Destroy is can that information be transmitted, efficiently between these 4 members if they want to have a chance at tying the series up.
For sure. And I actually think one of the most interesting things about this Wester lineup now is when we looked at it before, Venom was always the playmaker. And we were vocal about that last year. Vocal about that this year. We're like, why is this Wester squad running over everyone for the first 4 cups? And it felt like Venom was coming out of our mouth, very often because of that. And it was what he brought to the table and also, a reason he was brought on towards the LA Thieves, right? Because that was the exact reason. He said, listen, he's a playmaker. He knows when to go for them, and he's able to have a massive impact on the map. That's a really hard position to fill, whether that's a veteran coming in. It's almost just something you're used to when you have a player that's kind of making these plays for you and maybe getting you out of some of those tight and sticky situations. It's not necessarily something you can always fill. So that might force you to play a little bit different for as far as your style and how you're looking to take over some of these sites. You might have to do it through brute force and just baiting and switching. Can't maybe just allow your sub to kind of wait for a window to find an opening on the map and get through, find a pinch, get 2 kills, and then create an opening for a site if you're on the attack. Little things like this is something that Venom brought to the table a lot, which I'm kind of curious to see now. How are things going to play out on a map like Miami that is fairly large? If you make a decision to go to one side on the attack, you're almost kind of forced to stay there and dedicate to it unless you can get like one last second rotation. So these little things, very well could have a pretty big impact on this Wester squad.
Execution's everything. Communication, execution. Sounds like 2 very easy buzzwords just to say on a broadcast, but let's be honest, they're very important when you're dealing with a brand new squad for all intents and purposes. Especially when you're going up against a BBG squad on the other side that has had the chance, as a collective 4, to work through some of the things that have kind of, been problematic for them in the past. Yeah. So getting on into the Miami Search and Destroy, like we mentioned, coming up from map number 2 here. Most recently, Wester did play here yesterday versus Easter. Didn't quite get him a win. They were 3-6 overall for the loss there. But on the other side, for Easter, or for BBG rather, I should say, they've only played this map once in the stage so far. It was also versus Easter. They lost 2-6. They've largely been trying to get their Search and Destroy wins on Moscow. So not that they're unfamiliar with the map because you figured that they've obviously gone through it so far, but definitely not a lot of sample size to go off of just off this stage of the Elite specifically.
It can be tough too. Like, I think there's a lot of maps that are currently in the S&D pool where it's like either your team is just kind of really good at them and you're like willing to kind of try out some new things and be able to figure some things out and some set strategies that are kind of just working for you. Right. I think that's why a lot of teams are opting into the raids and things like this, or even checkmate now. It's like if you're just really aggressive subs, like you're probably going to want to play checkmate because if you can control the plane, you're going to control the map and ultimately probably get the win. So Miami is like just an absolute breeding ground for as far as, if you're a strong AR player, man, you're going to be taking over and just having a heyday, especially when you're able to kind of get into that groove, which is something we've also seen players like Glowfrosty, for example, kind of fall into. We saw it just last week from Insight, what he was able to do on a map like Miami once you're able to kind of get things rolling. And this is that map for those players, and it doesn't exactly give you as many options for the subs to be able to kind of make moves because you have to rely on your AR support to allow you to get to some of these positions here. So I think that's also maybe another window where we can look at people like Glowfrosty who have been seriously overlooked, being brought off of that subliner spot, of course, for Hydra and things like this to try and prove himself again and say, listen, you made the wrong decision. And he has kind of been through the blender more or less throughout this entire year, right, Alan, for as far as getting himself to a position where he can carry and where he can prove himself.
And, you know, just kind of looking at the macro, kind of getting out of the specific talk about the individual players and their roles and things of that nature, you know, kind of going back to, you know, Godorex from BBG yesterday saying, hey, we just did not play well yesterday when they went 0-2 on the day. But on the opposite side for Wester, you know, one of the big things that we talked about just as this squad, as a brand collectively at the beginning of the year was Respawn was everything for them. Here's the statistic. In North American Elite Stage 2, they are the 7th best hardpoint team, or 2nd worst if you're filling your cup the opposite direction. And in Control, they're just the 4th best team overall. They were by far and definitively the best Control team in North America.
They were.
For what? If this is, you know, 100%, if we're
First
talking about today as 100%, we're talking about literally 90% of what we've seen so far in Challengers North America was dominated by Wester's Control. So it kind of almost feels weird. Certain point for both of these squads, you've got to kind of tune up those weaknesses if you want to have a shot at winning this whole thing, let alone even just making playoffs in the first place, because we already mentioned how close these group standings are when it comes to the 6 teams that are left.
Absolutely. It's a lot of pressure too. I think when you're thinking about the teams coming into it today, knowing last match, this very well could determine, you know, who we're going to be playing up against in that first round going in towards playoffs, where things get very intense very fast. And I mean, it feels like these stages absolutely fly by. It's because they do. They're not extremely long by any means. So you have to kind of take that into consideration as well. You have to make the best of the situation you're in and do the most in each stage you make it into. But we are now in towards the game here, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Pander has already been picked off on the map. So it is going to be an attack coming through, but built by gamers. It's going to be Kismet able to get something back. Godorex with a second, and now man advantage over to BBG.
I am perplexed on how this was the setup that we got. After, what, 45 seconds have come and gone. I mean, built by gamers have Kismet with a sub through Hotel. You had Godorex just kind of lurking over by the courtyard. Now he's down to Temp for a 1v3. Gets the first and should be allowed to get the regen off. But the problem here is he's only got 18 seconds to play with, and Godorex for sure knows that the bomb is down on the A side. He's watching it from the staircase. Temp does check that. Doesn't see anybody, and by playing the opposite side of the bomb site, he's going to get this plant off. He's going to get an extra 45 seconds to play with, but you only see 2 of those as Kismet is able to find the easy elimination as soon as he gets off the post plant.
It's actually a little weird there, Alan. I was seeing like both players like not look at the bomb with like 10 seconds left, and I was thinking Temp might get an individual gunfight and actually get away, pull off an ace and get a big 1v3. Not the case. But by gamers, they're going to be able to hold on here, and there's a lot of long-range shots. And Pentagram is coming hot off of a fantastic game. Probably one of his best games he's had all year, at least on stream, for as far as what he's brought to the table on a league match. And he just absolutely beams from across the map there to be able to make sure built by gamers hold on towards that man advantage that was looking a little tough there at the start of the round after Pander got picked for first blood. But 1-0 up, BBG now on the attack, and well, with the SMGs coming up and everyone going one direction, looks like they're getting themselves right in towards this B area.
You got to feel like with BBG defensively getting through this B site in some fashion, again, we missed what it looked like off the rip. You feel like they maybe would want to stay a little bit more aggressive. Kismet, engineer player, able to find both trophies, no problem. Stun goes out, knows that Temper is in a corner, or at least somewhere near the staircase, and they will push him back. Kismet also gets a glimpse of Zaptius in. Oh boy, they're going to hit the brakes, put this truck in reverse, and maybe back away as they recognize Temp is nearby, Zap is nearby, and you should feel like there's a player deep in the alley, but Kismet just brazenly goes right onto the site, and that will be punished as Glow Frosty walks away with the first 2 kills.
Yeah, Glow Frosty, I mean, he's just sitting pretty, getting easy pickups. Temp was there just in case he wasn't able to find that kill, and Pentagram now realizing that he has to play for top purple control. He's denied. Temp finds an easy pickup. Last one left alive, Godorex and Wester. Well, they prepare for that B hit, and they shut it down here. Absolute dominating fashion. It comes back to this player where Glow Frosty finds 2 at the start of the round.
I was confused initially because both Kismet and Pentagram would have had information that Temp is pushed through. There's a player inside Hotel. You have to figure it. In this day and age, like the meta of playing defense in Miami, there's always somebody sitting back dumpster. I thought for sure they were just going to back out and rotate and see if they can maybe play through the middle of the map and catch some members on rotation, but no, they stick it. Kismet just dives on in and, well, didn't bring his floaties when he dove into the deep end there, apparently. So now as Wester rolls out for their next offense, much more concentration over the middle of the map. Although Zaptius with Temp with the bomb, they will make their way up the top piano. Pander will reveal his position deep back by the dumpster. No nades will connect as there's a trophy to keep all of those defense members around B safe.
You can just take a bit of a look at just the setup defensively, the difference between both rounds. You have very passive ARs kind of sitting at the back, where last round the temp was, of course, up top, able to kind of play a bit of a difference here. So you're going to have to look and see how they're going to be able to kind of break in towards the site, whether it's just a matter of just brute forcing in, trying to get the plant down as fast as possible, or if they can find a pick. Temp going to make the call. I am just going to brute force in, guys. The nades might come in, but it's going to be picked off. Panda probably found the angle underneath, and now Kismet on a flank might be able to make a play too.
Built by Gamers so abusive around the map, my goodness. It's not just Kismet. GodRx is also here. Glowfrosty thinks he's got an exit to get the regen off. Not going to be allowed. And Pentagram just holding things down inside of Pink is able to find the easy kill. So, man, it's just one of those things. You just watch how Built by Gamers have moved around the map defensively. Everything looks really solid initially. Once they get the information, we talked about this, you know, being able to get those mid-map adjustments, especially on a map like Miami, they're getting aggressive from the opposite side of where the hit's coming from. So not only are their initial defensive reads really good, but their ability to execute and take away the map is even better without question.
Kismet's finding a lot of flanks too, and I wonder if Wester's going to be taking note of that. There's a lot of space to work with on the outskirts rather, on the map, and the middle map has been taken away constantly. Temp not checking towards his left. GodRx tags him up and will finish off the kill. No real support there to kind of watch over Temp while he made that play, so that's an easy first blood. GodRx, he was able to convert on towards Aptus, who maybe feels obligated to make a play, and already you have a massive 4v2 as you make your move towards B and the bomb's down.
Parasite has to be the one to find kills here. He's got to break this post plant, which you have to know is going to be behind the docks over here. Pentagram watching to make sure he can't get too far forward, and now everything comes down to Glowfrosty. Would be an incredible 1v4. Initial shots, not bad, but not good enough, and that will mean that Built by Gamers will take their next offense and put themselves up 3-1. And this push to the middle of the map, a little questioning, I would say. I mean, Temp never even looks to see where GodRx was, and essentially gets caught lingering in the middle of the piano and windows up front.
Yeah, I think Zaptius goes with him, and he goes up top, and then it's just a matter of, all right, what exactly are we trying to do? And if Zaptius can't help him on the player, if there's not an AR looking over him, Temp's kind of just isolated if he doesn't win that gunfight, and because of that, you know, they get the easy pickup. So, yeah, a little bit tough, I think, with Wester making a few plays that hasn't exactly been playing off of each other, and we're going in towards what is going to be a round you kind of need if you're Wester. You can't really afford to go down 4-1 versus BBG team that's really starting to pick apart a lot of the defenses. Kismet, he comes running in towards the open, finds a kill. GodRx gets the trade as well. So already another numbers advantage in Zaptius. He's the one forced to make a play, and he dies as the bomb drops there on the beach side.
Yeah, I thought for a second with Temp being the one going over to B, he's been the one that's largely been carrying the bomb for the squad. 1v3 made to a 1v2, but I thought for sure he was just going to be bait over towards B. They were going to slow play A and see if they could bait out that defensive flank that they've hit so many times, and not the case. They just get kind of caught off trying to make a play through the sands. Temp should know that there will be BBG members behind him in some form, and the big problem here is he doesn't have the bomb. So, I mean, this would be an incredible 1v2 to pull off, without question.
It would be, because GodRx is up top, and he's also on 5, so Pander might be trying to bait and give this kill to GodRx, but he spots both, and now you're wondering if you should give the kill. Pander needs to help him out. Still only 15 seconds left. GodRx going to take the shots, and he gets the kill. 2 ARs versus sub. Difficult situation, and, well, with the picks coming through early, BBG, they're making slight work of this Miami search and destroy.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was on the edge of my seat there like, ooh, Wester, are we pulling a little bit of a little bait and switch with how we were trying to set up this offense? Because I thought for sure all three members were just going to stay behind Tiki, just play inside of Pool, see if you can maybe try to bait out that rotation defensively from BBG after noise had been made from Temp, but apparently that was not the communication. Built by Gamers, like you mentioned, winning the opening trades 2-for-1 with knowing the bomb should likely be a part of the 3 members that were over by A, just too locked in. So, how about this? You want to see a little bit of bait and switch. 3 members going to be, but none of them are carrying the bomb. It's actually being held by Pander, who will go all the way out by Tiki. So, this will be Built by Gamers, their first look at either finding kills and wrapping the bomb over late, or trying to keep some distraction over to the B side and then eventually re-wrapping to meet up with the bomb carry.
And if you're going to re-wrap, you feel like you have to do it now. It's going to take you probably 20 seconds to get over towards Bander. And It's just a matter of maybe can he actually find value to get a plant off here for
oh my God.
A pentagram that could just get in towards curb, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. It's player 3, Parasite up top, but he's not exactly watching the bomb. He does find the exit, so it is still a tough round for BBG as they're now in the 2v4.
But look at the setup. GodRx is watching the flank. Pentagram is just here with this little cheeky corner to see if anyone's going to take a look. You can see that little pink hue. That's exactly where the bomb is planted. They'll be hard-pressed to get the kill with an SMG, you feel like, but GodRx can rotate over if he sees this beautiful Semtex to flush him out. Now it just comes down to GodRx. Zap is going to stick for the defuse. Temp just throwing shoulders will make sure that GodRx cannot check the bomb itself, and that'll be enough time for the defuse to come in and Wester to get their second round.
Yeah, but GodRx plays his life again, right? So that's a streak, I'm pretty sure. He gets 1. And if you're going to give a round away to get a streak on Miami, I feel like that's not too bad of a trade-off, especially when you're already up by 3 rounds. So it's not too bad of a situation whatsoever. GodRx also, playing his life in that situation, so he's not going to go down. Still has potential to work for the second, and there you see it. So artillery has been secured. You trade that for a round. You're still in a good spot. You're on the defense. You can look to essentially just stack B, right? You can get numbers in towards the top, maybe play for a bit of a bait and switch top purple, kind of keep one player over by A and see if you can look to use that streak. But instead, they're just going to send one pretty passive setup, and it's going to be Wester who get pretty aggressive up top.
We'll see how they exactly want to execute off of this. GodRx watching the flank. Big cross angle, gets his 8th kill. Cruise missile now earned. Take a survey of what the land is looking like, and he will notice that, yes, Wester are indeed pretty heavily stacked over towards this B site. You've even got Kismet once again playing around the back. Oh boy, here it comes. For the 5th time this game, he's gonna find himself one. Good pinch from up top. Beautiful stuff. BBG's defense looking absolutely flawless.
It's so good, and they're giving so much of the map up while still having these big defenses, and it's the way they collapse into it together. I mean, whoever watches this VOD is going to be like, listen, where the hell is Kismet? Because he's now found 3 or 4 flanks throughout this Miami search and destroy. And yeah, you're going to be watching flank every single time you play against Kismet on this map from now on. I promise you that going in towards playoffs if we see this map in the rotation. But you can just now do exactly what you did in the previous round, where you can look to go towards the middle of the map. You can look to go towards A. You have 2 streaks available here for yourself. GodRx, I mean, still 8 in a row. He's still on the spree, doing what he's been doing this entire time. He gets info on Parasite, who's not able to play aggressive because no one's with him. And it's just a massive stack by B here for Wester, because they can't afford to give up the site in case it gets planted.
But the stun check will reveal that there is at least one player up top, and if history suggest anything, it's probably not just one person up top. Very regularly, it's 2 defensive members that'll take the hit top piano. Zap being one of those members, Temp the other. Both of those players obviously rocking SMGs at this point in time. But my gamers are not giving up to play for B. Pander finds a long-range kill, meanwhile simultaneously off-screen towards A. So a 4v2, and now why not? Hit the streak, see if you can maybe flush these Western members out. Not going to make a difference because through Garage, the BBG offense just finds the kills. 6-2, BBG up 2-0.
That's one of the most unique search and destroy wins I think I've seen throughout Cold War. That was really, really wild the way we saw a lot of those rounds just play out. Just the ability to give up the middle of the map, that it's usually just so highly contested, and you see a lot of teams saying, all right guys, they're getting aggressive up top purple, we need to match it, or we need to late hit it and try to play for some kind of a trade so we can get either info up there or control up there to drop that bomb. But I mean, it was just so interesting to see them play and say, listen, Pander, go to the other side of the map, look to work through this beach side. You did it the round before, got the bomb down, that secured. GodRx getting streaks on the attack. That round he does it, and Wester in this situation, like, wait, we just lost our teammate over by A. Are they hitting this one? Or are they hitting this bomb site? Like, you don't know. You're just left with question marks for as far as where the hit is actually coming in. A very unique way to play the map, just kind of using the outskirts and not really going in towards the middle or in towards piano. But that's 2-0 up, Alan. That's just crazy play. That was a crazy map.
I don't know how much of this you can really take, in full value, but it almost feels like BBG were sitting there saying, like, let's just get aggressive on these guys and force them to never feel comfortable. You know that they're a new squad. You saw maybe you even had a chance to kind of witness some of the gameplay from yesterday when they were playing versus Easter, I believe, on this map. So maybe there was something to be learned there very quickly. Maybe it was just one of those things of, hey, if I can communicate this, that means you need to be doing that. And that kind of felt like a lot of it, because even if, here's the thing about Kismet being on that flank. He doesn't have to be actually getting onto the play from the flank. As long as he just continues to put this presence in the mix, that's it. That's all you need, because now you know offensively that they have to be worried about their flank, and the defense from the front could just prevail, you would normally assume. I don't know. There's a lot of theory crafting we could talk about that play that Kismet's able to do time and time again, but no crafting or theory needing at all, because it's a 2-0 advantage right now for Built by Gamers. That leaves us with the Control coming up next that they played on Raid. And we'll say this much, for Built by Gamers, they have played a lot of Raid Control to the tune of a 3-1 overall record.
And that's good news. Built by Gamers, they were not happy with the results yesterday, Alan, and well, they're showing us, you know, what this squad is capable of doing. And going in towards this Control on Raid, I mean, you have to kind of give them a bit of an edge for the simple fact that they have looked very strong through the first two maps, and going in towards a map that they're already strong on is not good looks for Wester. And it's a little bit concerning, but I think we do have to kind of keep reminding ourselves that this is a squad that is fairly new, because losing the majority of the roster, Temp coming in, they're trying to figure out a lot of different things, and so far it has felt like it's a bit off, right? I think just by watching over that first and second game, it doesn't seem like they're comfortable at the moment, and maybe that needs more time, but the problem is you don't exactly have time here, so it's almost a difficult spot to be in as a team coming in towards a map where you know you need the win, because you have to pull off a reverse sweep in order to actually grab the series dub as a whole. And Built by Gamers, I mean, it doesn't feel like they're really letting off the gas whatsoever. And well, what about the transition in towards this one, Alan? Here it is, quick into it. So far, good start for Built by Gamers. They find the first couple of kills.
Good start, great start, immaculate start, I think you could argue. Only dropping a single life so far. First tick of progress will be quickly met by a second, and Wester are here. They're going to have to try to contest this. They don't really have an option, because all 4 players are in this area. If they lose it, then BBG can just walk onto the A site. So very fortunate that Wester can reclaim it. Because take a look at the minimap. If they don't secure that third tick from getting completed, you already got 3 members on A. So Built by Gamers are not just going to get a tick of progress today. They're probably going to get the entirety of the A site, because Wester had to stack for a retake.
Kismet plays his life. He's on 5. Kismet for 6. What a turn! Big snapper here from the submachine gun player. Looking for 7 and artillery already. As you just need the final tick, and well, he gets the help from GodRx. This is complete domination. Be well on the way. Temp's got to find value, and while you're going up against Papa Kiz, not a whole lot of value there. Trophy system down. Kismet finally dies on this free, but the damage is done, and Wester, can they even stabilize?
I mean, at a certain point, you might have to consider for Wester, like, we're not reach Allen, just give it to him, because you're down 12 lives already. Look. Here is the coolness about what we just saw for BBG. Off the rip, defensively, Wester 4-man stacked middle, and Kismet was able to still find an opening through that play. His teammates in Pentagram and Pander were still putting pressure over onto the B zone, and then once he turns to actually make a play for the zone itself, Wester have to make a decision. Are we chalking it, or are we going to commit for it? And as soon as they 4-man stack to play for a retake, that's essentially sitting there and saying that we have to win this retake, otherwise we lose the round. And even though they win the retake, they never deal with Kismet. It's, oh my goodness, that was beauty.
Sound a Canadian there, Alan. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, it was good. I like it. You hang around with me too much. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I really do hang out with you too much.
Built by Gamers on the defense, looking to see if they can try to get something going, but there's going to be a nice surge here from Wester. They're able to clear out space, back laundry, and they're also on the A zone for what should be a second tick coming through, and it is Kismet on a bit of a flank, but not sure if he's going to choose to try and pinch this out or not. You can already see Wester making moves in the middle of the map. Temp finds 2, and this could be a fast transition over towards B.
And we'll find 3. Okay, so the A zone will be locked in for sure. Temp is still going. A 1-6 start, but now 4 in a row. Opportunity to find maybe even more, but has to back down and get a reload. He would love to be able to play for a bit of streaks, and why not? One more up close. Temp for 6, but cut short of being able to earn the first streak of the artillery strike, but still 2 minutes to work with if you're Western.
And now take a look at the lives. It's actually a pretty big difference swinging the other way, but Built by Gamers, they do find a couple of kills, make that 3 kills to relieve some of the pressure, and Parasite's position is also known, so easy cleanup there for Panda as he takes him up with the nade. Have to kind of start over as you clear out all of the players in your spawn for the side of BBG. Good there for Pentagram, but not good for Kismet, and you have to try to get a little bit of control as we'll see if they can continue to surge forward. Western trying to get out Allen, but it's actually pretty difficult for them. But the good news is you still have lots of time. So that life lead that was just 8 actually just got cut down to 3 as Built by Gamers are able to regain some control on towards the map. And Pentagram still causing havoc in from behind as he gets a really important kill here on the rotation.
Yeah, the time was great for Western. You still have obviously a lot of it left, but Built by Gamers have drastically reduced the life differential. Just down to a single kill now between them. And living on the flank still are BBG's SMGs. Pander able to find a stick, plus nearly another. Glowfrosty has to back down. Still tagged, but stays alive. And Pander's gonna think he's got a 1 HP Western member around the corner, and it's a very fresh Zaptius coming off spawn. So an opportunity now for numbers with 45 seconds to play where Western could actually get a really good look at this attacking approach to the B zone.
Parasite does get inside of Tiki. That's going to be pretty important. He should have spotted Pentagram, but he was more worried about the player inside of Money. So Pentagram and Pander, they slow down this push completely. Zaptius is on 2 in a row. The nade is going to clean him out. Now 6 on 6 for lives. 20 seconds left to try and get on towards the zone. Still have to get all 3 ticks if you are Wester. Temp gets towards the middle of that. Big gunfight for him. Takes down Kismet. Now a bit of breathing room, but still 10 seconds left. Someone's got to make a move.
4v5 as well. Keep an eye on those lives. Zaptius trying to make it a little bit more abusive, but the kills turn up in BBG's favor. Temp now has to go big. It's him and Parasite trying to work this, but both will fall in sequence of one another. Glowfrosty, sure, great to get the kill, but no chance to touch the zone. And Built by Gamers reduced what was about a 9-life lead. Kill off 2 minutes and change worth of time. And now they find themselves 2-0 up in the control, looking for a 3-0 sweep of Western. They can find one more round.
On this moment, I mean, so close to being able to kind of move right off of that zone to come over here, and Temp dies 1 off of that spree to get streaks, get 6 in a row, and it's a trade that ends up coming through to make sure that he does not have streaks. And I believe that we still have streaks available here on the other end. Coming in towards that first round. I want to say someone did end up securing them, so that could be in play coming in towards this third one here for us. As Pentagram slides towards the middle of the map, lands some pretty difficult shots there, and now Zaptius feels obligated to try and make a play. He's good there for God RX, but Kismet already slides on through, and he's already attacking the B zone.
You can just feel the confidence from BBG, and why not 7 HP? Forced to take the challenge and wins it. Pentagram now on 6. He says, Kismet, that opening offense looked like fun. I'll take what you're having. Artillery strike sounds like it's coming down right now. It sure is. That's from Kismet for another. The B zone, just dust it off. That's going to be a full 3rd tick coming through, and BBG with a life lead will have 2 minutes and 10 seconds to get a 3-0 potentially on A with streaks to play with.
Oh, so many streaks, and Pentagram actually doesn't invest in dropping it. He just gets the information on where they are, and that's good info for Pander from the back of the spawn. And the shots from Pentagram right now, man, he is feeling himself. How many streaks have we seen from the BBG lineup so far in this series? It feels like one too many. They're now on the zone. Streaks available. It's Wester having to re-wrap through the middle of the map to kind of reunite here with their teammates inside of Art. Stop all of the progress going over, which Parasite is able to do as he hops on the zone. So Pentagram trying to keep that spree going will be shut down by no other than Parasite again. But everyone coming off the respawns, a bit of control has been regained inside of Art, but Zaptius still trying to be a nuisance. He finds himself on 3, and he's trying to lock things down the best he can.
Going to find a 4th, and Wester, really a lot of their success is stemming off the fact that Zaptius has been such a pain to get rid of in the backline of Built by Gamers. You remember Pentagram used those, paying off the artillery strike just to see where Wester were positioned. They know they can't make a play on A until they clear out Art, and it was much easier said than done when Zaptius was the one holding it. Now Temp, the next one forward. He will find another elimination, keep being sneaky around the middle, finds himself a 2nd kill. I'm sure he got the information that Pander was 1 shot. And Parasite will make sure he stays safe by watching over the top. 10, 4 in a row. Hold on a second. Down to 55 seconds to play, and Wester have reclaimed the life lead up 13-11.
They sure have, up by 2, and you can see Pentagram now going for an alternative route to try and actually clear out the base. That's been the big problem. Wester have always had someone inside of Zig, inside of Art, and Temp now finds himself on 5. Parasite holding the line by Ramp is just creating even more difficulties. Zaptius right back in towards the spawn, and Built by Gamers, they're struggling to get themselves out as Zaptius is able to get himself inside of Jim. Pander's like, guys, we got to clear out the base, but it might be too late. 20 seconds left. You only got 5 lives remaining, and you somehow have to get towards this zone.
So remember that time about earlier on in this round I said Built by Gamers confidence was just oozing out the seams? I think it's starting to turn into a little bit of overconfidence. We've seen a lot of solo shells, including that one, in the last minute and a half or so. So you gotta hold on, because I'll be honest with you, that is a round that is looking so good for Built by Gamers. They're sitting there saying, yeah, let's just use some streaks. Let's just go ahead and make sure we put this one away. And now all of a sudden, Wester are showing back up. The SMGs are lighting up the flank and in the back lines. They also bait out, 2 different streaks? This is still very winnable for Wester all of a sudden.
It definitely is winnable, and I think the big factor is that they're able to win this defensive round after losing the unfavored zone, right? We talk about that B zone being pretty difficult to get to, and when you lose it first, it feels like you're almost in a world of hurt. But the fact that they're able to still bounce back, keep really good arc control, not lose control of their own base, maybe is a bit of hope that they need. But either way, back towards what we typically see. I guess it's Pentagram doing Pentagram things. I was going to say it was going to be the offensive hit over towards A, which is certainly more common. Pentagram, he is going to shut that down completely.
The only way that Built by Gamers locked onto that A zone is if one of the 2 SMGs that played off the rip defensively find a couple of kills, because it was a 3v2 on point in favor of Wester's numbers. And now Pentagram says, you know what, let them have this zone. I'm going to go ahead and streak this, force them into our ARs. Okay, there you go. 1 streak kill, 1 SMG kill over the top. Goddard X will make sure he stays safe, and well, the artillery strike will amount into 4 total kills, a full wipe in the board for BBG's defense.
You still have a cruise missile, and Kismet might still have his as well. I don't think it came through, just the artillery. We will, in fact, see 40 seconds left. You have to make a decision. What zone do you want to go to? A, probably more likely, but Parasite does start to poke his nose in towards B. The nade will find him and clean him up. And with all of the Built by Gamers players going down on towards the map, that creates enough of an opening. They're going to be able to get inside of Laundry. Temp big gunfight here. Finds 1, almost the second. Goddard X trying to maybe reposition up top, but it's Glow Frosty coming in from behind. Going to be able to create enough space, and that extra minute has been put up.
And that wasn't a full commitment for Built by Gamers to chalk either. They were setting up as if they wanted to retake Laundry and then maybe even contest, because you've got Pander who's working through the flank, and I believe it was Pentagram at one point in time was in the middle of the map. So they were trying to stage for maybe a late retake if the kills were favorable, but as soon as Wester pops up in the kill feed on the correct side, they say, oh, okay, well, never mind, we got to back up and immediately try to bunker around this B site, and that's where the kills start to come back through. So 60 seconds to play here in round number 4, 18-17 the lives, and Glow Frosty is the only member here in the middle of the map, so Wester's attempt for the B zone will largely have to be out of the bedroom.
Everyone playing extremely tight, and Built by Gamers, they don't have to make the first move. They're on the defense. They're playing tight for the reason that they know the push has to come. Pentagram finds a kill. Parasite answers back, and Glow Frosty finds Goddard X. Last one is going to be Pander inside of basketball while his teammates come off the respawn. Challenge comes in, a beautiful double chow with that, but Kismet from the side might be able to find some value. Second tick well on its way. Pentagram going to use the streaks here last second. What can he find? A couple of lock-ons, but not kills. Weaving it in towards the basketball court will be a kill on towards Parasite. They know one more is here, but from the side is Temp as he takes down Pentagram. Glow Frosty locked down basketball. This third tick could still come through.
Parasite, he was a sacrificial lamb. Glow Frosty's able to stay alive. Now he's got streaks. He's going to maybe pull one out. The artillery strike was queued up, but it doesn't need to come through. Not as of yet. Zaptius will step foot lastly. That is the most sacrificial thing I have ever seen in Cold War. Parasite is in that back basketball area with Glow Frosty, and he says, I'll sacrifice myself, buddy. You know that that streak is going to come for you, but Glow Frosty's playing for streaks. Parasite puts him out into the open, so he goes for the kill, and Glow Frosty now is in a position where he's earned full-on streaks, and we're going into a round 5 that Wester's going to have a little bit of an advantage off the score streaks alone.
Oh, man. He's a vet for a reason. Parasite doing it all to make sure his team stays alive in this series. It's just, can they actually find value here again? Glow Frosty maybe starting to heat up for himself. Back on that 2 spree. Good opening. As we'll see Kismet start to make his way over towards the pool house. Just trying to lock things down. Long range shots there. Good on towards Temp. Maybe one down low. Goes towards the pistol. Gets the shot punch here. So Kismet able to lock down Pool. Finds a couple of kills. And just being a nuisance the best he possibly can. As Pentagram trying to do the exact same thing. But with an opening here towards A, we could maybe see Wester get back on towards that A zone.
You got to slow down and get your base essentially back into your hands. You need to be able to take back Arc, and you're going to have to likely use a score streak to then execute onto one of these 2 zones. You can't keep going in one by one here. And finally, they do get some clearance. Pentagram's the last player to defend from the front. You also still have Kismet from behind. Pentagram moving forward, able to find 1 elimination. Now Kismet pinching from the back. They combine for 3, not going to get the full 4, and now we're down to 40 seconds and a 5 life lead for BBG.
You can see off the spawns, Wester, they're almost forced to go towards B, but both AR players, they were already posted up, and Glow Frosty, he has to use the streaks. Can he find value? That should be a kill on Kismet, but no, Kismet gets into laundry just in time. Tries to weave it into money, not good for the kill. And Kismet able to find 1 more there as well. But it does give time for Wester to at least touch the B zone. That first tick has come in. They stop the clock at 27 seconds. Temp reads the pinch in from behind. Parasite is set up top cutout. This is your chance, and you're going to have to find value off of it. And Parasite still trying to get kills. But Kismet and Godorex, they clear off the zone, and it's all at the Temp. He falls down as well. One last push for Wester.
And they don't know which way they want to go. Zaptius is going to have to back up. They want to try to go for A, but look at all the pink arrows. They're all over the place. The artillery strike is coming down, but there's just nobody from Wester who can capitalize on any positioning to get to a zone. Zaptius has to run for it, and well, run for his run. He won't get there this time. BBG's defense, oh boy, they come alive and they completely suffocate Wester, essentially back into the garage spawn. And they will get a 3-0 in the series after an absolutely unreal control here all in all in Raid.
Oh, how do you find the words? That was an emotional roller coaster right there, Alan. Just a lot of back and forth that took place. I mean, streaks came in. It looked like it was going to be closed out with 3. That's not the case. Brody, you were watching, behind the scenes, getting a good look at everything that was coming through. I mean, what are your thoughts on that one?
On stream, you guys can't hear me right now, but now you can. You can hear me on stream. Apologies about that.
There he is.
The amount of times I was sitting there and I just had my arms up in my air, in the air, just like what is going on? It was in the hardpoint, the search and destroy, the control, which was crazy. By the way, I was just sitting there like, what is going on here? But that is a wild performance from BBG. I love the confidence. It did almost mess them up there in that control. They should have finished that in 3 rounds. No doubt in my mind. That should have been done in round 3. It should have been a much more dominant scoreline. But nonetheless, really great performance from BBG. I'm impressed with that roster there. Specifically, I got to shout out Pentagram. 32 kills in that map number 1 hardpoint. He went double positive. And he did it with 3 minutes of hill time. That is unheard of. Nobody gets 3 minutes of hill time and still gets 32 kills. That's just crazy to me.
It's one of those things that, we've opted, let's be honest, all 3 of us have kind of kept our eyes on this BBG roster. Is it working? We had a lot of questions after stage 1. Do they need to make change-ups? Is this composition really effective when it comes to trying to be at the top overall in North America? Because even going back to some of the results prior, in cups, they weren't even confirming top 8s every single time. Like, they're having a hard time getting into the top echelons overall, but now we're starting to see when they're playing at their highest, you're going to be able to see instances like that. So taking a look at our schedule again, just really quickly as we complete that one in pretty lightning fashion. 3-0 for BBG over Wester means that Built by Gamers will go to a 4-3 overall scoreline, where Wester will be the opposite at 3-4. It gives us one more match to get into. It's UT Crew versus Easter, and UT Crew, after a very slow start in the first week and even a little bit in the second, they're actually in a position to largely make some moves happen. They're also sitting pretty comfortably right now at 3-3, whereas Easter are hoping for a win to get and confirm a top 2 slot where they can avoid the knockout bracket and instantly be ready to go for playoffs. We're going to send things off to a break, though, get ourselves set up for that one. When we come back, UT Crew looking to try to find a way to foil all the plans for Easter right at the backside of the break. Welcome back, everybody. 3-0 in the prior matchup, but it was not for short of being electric. An incredible 3 maps, to be sure, but that means we have to move on into our second and final matchup here in the North American group stage before we get into the knockout and playoff brackets. Looking forward, we'll be dealing with UT Crew going up against Easter. Both teams have been surprising for maybe different reasons. For Easter, Visions, they've nearly been perfect, which is a bit surprising considering that they barely even qualified in the first place. So, hey, if you're riding the wave, you're riding the wave, and these are the 5 maps that both of these squads will square up on.
I think it's actually wild that you brought up that storyline because, yeah, we saw them go up against Mohawk and Co. We're thinking there's a world where maybe Easter doesn't even make it in. And if John doesn't make it in, well, maybe he goes completely out of the conversation for who might be next up in towards the CDL. So they're now in. They have more practice. You have to remember Gravity also on this squad was originally on that Wester squad that was so dominant throughout the first half of the game. And now has come together with a lot of other veterans in towards the scene. And I feel like everything has just been so good for them overall. I mean, their only losses to a New York Subliners who's starting to heat up with Hydra, and other than that, I mean, they have the head-to-head versus Fantastic Four. They've been extremely strong, and I just don't even know where the limit is for a squad like this. We talk about passion maybe not having a ceiling. Well, maybe it's the same story here for this Easter squad as well.
Well, I'll get your final take here, Infinity, is on this checkmate hardpoint as we're loading in, just to kind of, I know you've been really praising what UT Crew has been able to do, especially lately, just in this week alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to see this UT Crew roster play. I don't know how they will do against this Easter roster that are absolutely on form, but, you know, as I've already established earlier on in the broadcast, right, UT Crew, they did not have a good start to Stage 2. They're still settling with a new meta, of course, coming off an attempted roster change with Phantoms to try to make its way over towards Wester, a roster change that did not work out, and now UT Crew, I think they're finally settling back in, trying to be as on form as they were in the first stage, third back there. But we are getting right into this. I believe I am casting with my good friend Visions. We got an Apocalypse in the series. We'll see if we get there. But for now, it is going to be checkmate to kick us off.
That's right. A few maps before we get there, but we are hoping we get there. And so far, UT Crew, well, they're off to quite the nice start. Not only have they taken about 35 points off of P1, but we also see how they're able to influence the spawns here and get in towards the favored side. Gentroid just looking to contest a bit of this time if they can. And Easter struggling to get really any points on the board as Phantoms. He starts off quite nicely as well here, Brody. 5 in a row, 6 in a row, 1 off streaks just about a minute in.
Yeah, good to be stopped him off streaks as well. You do not want to let Phantoms heat up, and that is a great start for him, of course. A massive reason why UT Crew are such a good team. And honestly, I think, you know, looking towards this meta, Rex and Phantoms, who is effectively Phantoms remain AR, Rex in the flex AR role for this team. In current meta, this is a deadly duo, and you're starting to see them heat up here early on. But on the other side, you've got Easter players, Jerd. He can start to heat up here. Unfortunately, isn't able to do so. So UT Crew going to be looking pretty good on this rotation. This is a stellar start for them here, Austin.
It sure is. I mean, a single point on the board for Easter, right? We hyped up just how many vets are on the squad, how good they have been, taking down just about all the top teams, and now struggling to get any real time, at least at the start of the first couple of hills for us. So they have to try and convert on towards this rotation, but Gentroid with a nice win is going to be able to create now room through this left lane. Start making his way towards P3. Still a few more members to cut through. John trying to stop this push, and Gravity not really expecting the support to come in down low, and it's going to be easy. Finds 2 for himself with the help of Phantoms, and well, UT Crew, they are rotating perfectly. They're right back on the time.
What even is this? This is just an amazing start for a UT Crew at the moment. I mean, they broke Easter pretty much on the rotation right from the off. They didn't let him rotate there. Now we're seeing the same thing again. Finally, a wave of kills does come through to Easter, and they can get some stability in here. As Phantoms is going to pick up fellow, you need to see Easter start to get some time on the board. You've got Jerd inside the hard point. He's actually going to get taken down with our long-range shots from Gentroid with the AK-74U, and it's UT Crew back on in again. They will get removed from the hard point, but if anything here, UT Crew really do not care. They're removing Easter from the time, and that's the main thing.
And if you're John, you almost feel pressured to try and maybe get some streaks going here for yourself, and well, he might just be able to do it. 6 in a row here for him. Trying to see if he can find that 7th. Does get the full regen. Has a bit of help there from his left. Will find Phantoms. The challenge comes. Phantoms with a big kill. making sure streaks are not going to be in play. As Jerd, next one up here for Easter to try and cut through the map, but the zoning just way too good. Dylan Rex is able to find a kill. Gintroid pushing out the front, finds himself a double up, and UT Crew, they are running away with the lead. They are up 100 points here in this hill, Brody, just taking over this first map.
They are indeed. UT Crew are having one hell of a time here, and across the board, it is just great performances. 10 and 8 for all three of Yeez, Gintroid, and Rex. Finally, Rex is going to pick up an 11th kill. Phantom's also up there at 13 and 7. They're just having a field day. They're destroying
sure
Easter at the moment, and AR duo of Gravity and Fellow just cannot get anything going at the moment. If they can start to pick up the pace here, things will be easier for them on Checkmate. But as it currently stands, Austin, UT Crew, they're soaking up all the time in this hard point. I mean, finally, Easter come on through, but what? There's still 5 seconds left. UT Crew, ooh, they're already over to the next hard point.
Yeah, they are on towards the next hard point here, and I think the big problem is the fact that the ARs just aren't exactly doing it here for Easter. You talk about a map that is, you know, very much more catered towards the assault rifle players, and you have Gravity's about 8 and 12, and you got Fellow who's 6 and 14. John and Jerd, they're holding their own, but it's just not enough. But maybe John can make a pretty big individual play in towards the back. He does find a couple of kills in a row, but they're able to flush him out, get control in the back once again, but it will be Easter, at least collecting the time there for a short period, and not until UT Crew right back in, looking to maybe collect the last 30 seconds.
Easter still looking for this time. Gravity looking to make a move on forward, and he will get one. Looking for the second, will get it. So Easter now looking to start heating up here. Gravity is on a 5 streak. If he can earn some streaks off the back of this, Easter, well, they might just be all right. They do finally get some solid time on the board, but as we move over towards the rotation, UT Crew already over here once again. You've got Rex inside the plane, but Gravity still on the hunt for these streaks. These could well change the game, but he is going to get cut down, and Easter, I mean, the shining light has kind of been snuffed out.
Fellow on a bit of a pinch as well. 3 in a row. ARs need to step up, and well, we're starting to get close to even. Fellow for 4. Able to play his life. Gravity finding another one there. On towards Gintroid. Now that's going to create a bit of zoning in and around the point, but Dylan Rex reads it perfectly to make sure no one is slipping on through. Now back in towards the hill. You need to find a contest. Good shots for Dylan Rex to find the entry. And now it's going to be his teammates trying to also get in. The contest good there for Gintroid, but not before John finds the double up. Easter, they're coming back in towards this game, and well, they're looking pretty solid on P1.
Get this scrap time. Okay, right, I gotta stop talking, dude. So, if they get the scrap time, they'll be fine, but they don't get the scrap time. Rex comes in with 3, a 5 killing spree for him. Now looking to earn some streaks here. UT Crew, if they get them, this would be maybe not the final nail in the coffin, but it wouldn't be the best position for Easter to find themselves in. Of course, Rex is shut down, but it is UT Crew once again on the rotation here. You can feel that they're feeling pretty confident right now. Can Easter break on in? No is the answer. Phantom's able to pick up Gravity, and now it's just John, the closest player, to do anything here. He's going to fall, and Easter sent right back to square one, right back to their spawn.
Oh, that was a big play from Gintroid. He found 2 in the middle of the plane, so that 1 stops the rotation from being able to help John, and 2, it also forces those spawns kind of in behind P4, so you're traveling now so much extra distance before you even get close towards the hill, and that's already netted you about 30 points if you're UT Crew. Chanced even to grab the last 30 as well, as Easy is thinking about this rotation, trying to find some shots there. I think he gets some help from Dylan Rex to be able to put that one away. Gintroid pushes out once again, finds himself a kill, and you're chalking this. UT Crew, they are already pushed up on the map. They're looking great long-range shots there for Gintroid, able to land another kill for himself, allowing his teammates to push out of the spawn, and you just need 14 points to put this one away.
Yikes. 14 points. This is one hell of a performance from UT Crew. If Easter were to be able to bring this one back, Austin, this would be one of the best comebacks we'll have seen in Black Ops Cold War so far. Maybe even the best. But hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves. They've got to win those first wave of gunfights. They're unable to do it. UT Crew now back in the hard point for the last 10 seconds of time. A couple of gunfights is all they need. And of course, Rex is going to get him. He's been on a streak after streak after streak. And with the rest of the roster up there getting all these kills, why the hell should we not expect a 250 to 85 scoreline? What a performance out of the gate there from UT Crew. That is a statement start of this series.
It sure is. It's definitely a statement, Brody. Man, I mean, 250 to 85. Like, for anyone that's just tuning in, this is the Easter squad, by the way. Like, they're at the top of the standings. They're 5-1. They've only lost to one team, which is the Subliners. I don't know how you even find the words. It feels like this is a squad that was probably coming into this as the clear favorites. UT Crew, obviously other plans as they spoil it. And yeah, that was a fantastic game to come through on the very first one. Just the rotations, the holds, everything, Brody, down to the wire for as far as how they were playing off of each other. A lot of big kills, controlling the important parts of the map. When we talk about Checkmate, the subs were doing it, the ARs were doing it, everyone working off of each other, and they just take over.
Yeah, I mean, that is a team effort, but I will give a very specific shout out to Rex and Phantoms. They played their roles perfectly, effectively. You know how AR heavy a map like Checkmate is. You expect Rex and Phantoms to have a good performance there. They do it so easy. I mean, the amount of streaks that we saw from Rex, not necessarily getting those score streaks effectively, but actually just going on these sprees of 4, 5 kills in a row pretty continually after respawn. It's just so damning to Easter's defensive play. They could never get anything going. There were no room to breathe there. You guys can see it in the replays right now. Just Rex getting these consistent plays. Easter, I mean, they just did not have a good go of things there. They just couldn't get anything going. I think, as you and I noted about halfway through that game, when your ARs on Checkmate are not having a good game, and that's Gravity and Fellow for this squad, you are not going to have a good time. It is just as simple as that.
That's true. I mean, that's exactly it. It's just so difficult. I mean, and John was actually holding his own. The fact that the submachine gun players were still at least even or positive here for both, I mean, Jordan and John, deserve almost a pat on the back for being able to do what they could, because it is not easy to maneuver on a map like that when your ARs simply are just not finding kills and they're being pieced left and right. So yeah, a little bit of credit there. John doing everything he can, but not enough in the end. And now that's another one of those moments where it feels like we said this maybe a couple times in the last couple days, is you just got to kind of wipe the slate clean and just say, all right, forget about that one. Now it's a best of 4. We're going in towards this one to see if we can maybe bounce back. But that's definitely a tough one to come away with, especially a team that I feel like is pretty well rounded through just about every single game mode here. So just can't really get it going in the first one. But now we have a search and destroy on the horizon for ourselves here, Brody, to see if we will in fact get a bounce back here from this Easter squad.
How are you feeling about that Apocalypse Hardpoint now? Austin, how confident are you feeling after
map
number 1?
It's not a 3-0 from UT, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I would be doubtful that this will be a 3-0. Now I've said that, of course, Caster's Curse is absolutely going to be a 3-0. But no, honestly, I will say, as we look towards our series and more specifically towards our map number 2 here, this could well be a 3-0. And the reason I say that is, the way that Rex and Phantoms are playing at the moment, we know that Miami is a very open map. If we see this Easter roster play right into the hands of Rex and Phantoms here, with them just essentially setting themselves up with the QBZ, I think this could well be a breeze for this UT Crew roster. It really does depend sort of how much they've worked on their search and destroy game, because at the moment, compared to Easter, Easter are 7-2 here in search and destroy in stage 2. They are having a great time here compared to the 4-3 of UT Crew. So it's not like UT Crew are bad in search and destroy, but I think they've got a long way to go. I think the one asterisk I'll put on there on that stat though is that we know that UT Crew did have a bad go of things in week number 1. Whatever that was down to, I'm not entirely sure, but of course that's going to kind of skew the stats in terms of how well they have been doing recently.
Yeah, Easter really good in search and destroy. Their best game mode so far in towards stage 2 for sure, and that's kind of what's maybe carried them through a lot of the series. And this is where you need it the most because of maybe control not always being the best for them. They are 4-2, and UT Crew maybe say the same thing because they haven't been the most consistent in control. But I think you do have to think about this UT squad who has stuck together through stage 1. I think they were maybe looking for their options overall to figure out what were they really going to do. And I think they came to the conclusion at the end saying, all right, let's just go back in together, see if we can maybe bounce back and get things going overall for them. But this squad also full of a lot of strong search and destroy players. I'm looking at Yeezy in particular, someone who has spent a lot of time playing with Tupac in towards the scene, and overall, has been able to kind of pick his brain over the years before finally being able to compete at 18. So I'm looking at the young gun to see what he might be able to bring towards the table here for us. His first year truly competing. I think he's already turned some eyes and has gained some attention, and we'll see if maybe that plays a factor for us getting in towards this matchup as well, Brody, because this is one where they might be able to carry that momentum like you just said.
Very excited to see how Easter bounce back here as we go into map number 2. It's time for Miami search and destroy. Already down to a 1 versus 1 in this one. Rex running the AK-70 for you at the moment. Has 9 bullets left in his gun. Well, Fellow putting some extra bullets into the body there at the end. I do like that, actually. from Fellow. You know, it's kind of that strategy where it's like, well, look, you know, we kind of got demolished in map number 1. Let's try and get in their heads.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those moments. That's exactly what you're trying to do, because Rex is like, this guy really shoot my body? We just put you in the 100-point club. Are you serious, fellow? Are you serious? He's absolutely serious, Rex. And well, first round coming through pretty strong and pretty convincing for the side of Easter. Talked about their S&D record being 7-2. And well, we might just show you guys why, as it's 3 kills. Round number 1 there for Fellow. Maybe already working towards an early set of streaks if he can keep this going in towards this round and maybe the next. But it will be an offensive attack. Starting to build up over towards B. Fellow just getting a little check on towards the cross. And, well, might decide to bounce back. I like this because I think the player does see him, in fact, cross. So he's going to reposition. But Jintroid, he's going to take some long-range shots. And Fellow just barely slips away with his life.
Yee's going to push up the beach. I love this aggressive play coming out from Yee's. Unfortunately for him, though, his fellow teammate in Rex is going to fall. But a good trade coming in from Yee's. Doesn't take out Fellow just yet, of course. Has had a 4-0 start, so you might want to be a little bit wary of the fact that he is working slowly, but still towards those streaks. And for UT Crew at the moment, just looking for any advantage, any opening they can get to get this bomb down.
Bomb is going to be held here from Yeezy, seeing if he might be able to kind of push up through this right side. Phantoms, he's going to find one crossing. Jared a little too aggressive. He's punished for the play. 3 versus 2, 20 seconds left. I mean, UT Crew, they got to make a move, and Yeezy's forced to put this bomb down. Fellow's going to give him a challenge. Another pickup for Fellow, 5 in a row. Jintroid, be big if he can maybe take him off the spree. Not looking too good for as far as clutching out the round, and he's forced to go back towards the bomb here one more time. Can he get this down as Phantom's looking over him, and Fellow does get 6, but can't slip away for the 7th, and UT Crew able to play the numbers correctly as they'll tie things up 1-1.
That's massive for 2 reasons that round, right? First of all, you do not let Easter gain too much early momentum, and then, of course, this final kill, Fellow gets a little bit overzealous, and Phantoms comes in with the trade. So I know that, obviously, you know, Fellow there looking to just advance his streak a little bit. I don't think he expected Phantoms to make that transition across as quickly as he did, but a streak is shut down. Fellow will be somewhat disappointed with that, but UT Crew, they will feel relieved that they don't have to deal with those streaks later on, because they are deadly on a map like Miami.
They sure are. They sure are, Brody. And, well, tying things up after what was a dominating round on the attack last round is good news here for UT Crew. Now the aggression unfolds right inside the middle of the map. John somehow gets a kill, being fairly tagged up. Gets that nade down, slips away. Won't be able to get the bomb, however. So at some point in time, Easter, they're going to have to make their way back towards the stairs and try and pick that up.
You're telling me John didn't play Call of Duty for a whole entire year? Jeez, this guy is cracked out of his mind right now. Okay, Fellow! Oh my goodness me. Fellow just snaps across the map. Takes Rex out. Rex was just having a drink, buddy. Come on, man. Get in the bar. This is a crazy finish of Fellow hit.
Yeah, good shots.
Really, just such a good AR play for this squad.
It was around that. I mean, UT Crew had the advantage, and everyone just drops, it feels like, as soon as we transition. It's also pretty wild that we're 3 rounds in, and well, John and Fellow are combined for all of the kills, which sits at about 11 here. So we'll just let that kind of stir in your minds while you're watching. Easter are still going to find success on the attack. So an offense is all the way through here thus far. John, pretty common spot. He loves playing this angle. It's good support in and around. Someone can hop over the jump wall. Would be Fellow if he needs to help. And then you got Jared kind of sitting out back in the alley, just watching over. John gives a little shoulder. And, well, Dylan Rex might have actually seen that. Shots come through. Nades are coming out. Dylan Rex tagged up. Can't really effectively challenge. Fellow comes over the wall, and Easter trying to hold on towards their setup.
Jared going to pick up Yeast, so that's a good first blood here for Easter. Fellow able to get one. Jintroid with a trade, so now 2 versus 3 here. Make it a 1 versus 3. Why the hell not? Jintroid left all alone. Goes for a very heroic challenge versus Jared. Punished for it. And Easter looking very good here. Just crazy how much they did. It was such a good push coming out from UT Crew, but they demolished it pretty much straight away.
It's just the shoulder from John. Just so much information, and when you keep someone in the middle of the map who's securing that for you and just has the ability to be able to find the timing to hop over that wall to add the additional support towards the defense, plays the factor time and time again. 3-1, Easter looking good. Looking now to see exactly what they have planned for round number 5. be able to change things up quite a bit. Fellow on himself, of course, he's going to take that challenge. Detroit even gives him a repeat, but two players will shug him off of the curb here for now. Meanwhile, it's John who's able to find a bit of an interesting position over by B, but the bomb works up through the beach side, and Phantoms, he's going to be able to find Jerd here for the first blood.
Shots coming in from Fellow to the mid-map, trying to take out Gintroid in a cross-map play, but John at the moment looking to go through the bar. There is Yeez on the other side of this wall. Rex also, if John can make the play, this will open up the round for Easter. Both of these players playing this so patiently. They know that something could be on the other side. Yeez goes for the check, goes for the kill, but goes for the nade as well. Does end up getting it. Oh, that would have been nasty if he didn't get rid of that Semtex quicker. Now a 4 versus 2. Now a 4 versus 1. Gravity left up all alive. 0 gravity hit for Easter in that round. UT Crew able to claw one back.
I think that was a bit of an interesting one. You could see just a lot of isolation across the board for every single player. We saw that first pick that came through on towards Jerd. Didn't have a support really behind him for an effective trade as soon as he dropped. Then you have John, who's making a bit of a solo play over by B, Fellow in the middle of the map. So really around, they're playing for a lot of info and trying to work for picks and force individual gunfights, but individual gunfights simply do not swing their way. So UT Crew, they take advantage. They find themselves round number 2. Into round 6 we go. Back on the attack, UT Crew might be looking to get aggressive again. Last time it was difficult for them to try and actually break the setup due to John's positioning. Well, he's no longer in that little cubby corner behind B. And with already just about 20 seconds in the round, UT Crew, they're getting a lot of ground and they're already on B.
Good play from UT Crew here, so make sure they get control of the site. Now it's about the retake. Well, John, he's pretty good at retaking bomb sites, you know. He takes 2 down. But the bomb has gone down, so Yeez and Phantom, well, I mean, this is a good play from them here, trying to retreat just somewhat, but unfortunately, they do end up giving the bomb site away to Easter. Now Yeez and Phantom's trying to play the parking garage. Jerd pushes on 3. But Phantom's on the Godhead, he is able to pick up 1. Now just Yeez, a 1 versus 2. He's able to get the first, turns around for gravity! Yeez with the 1v2 clutch!
What a play from Yeezy right there, man. That was just a stellar play. That's a D-star for a reason. He's been playing this game up for so long, and he gets the info on gravity because he takes those shots on towards Phantoms that's playing the clutch spot by the river. And just what a way to turn around. Low on HP, does not even matter. Brings home the kill, ties things up, back-to-back rounds, UT Crew right back in this game. And Yeezy, Brody, he's on 4 in a row.
Yeez is just one hell of a player, of course. This is his debut season here, just turning 18. He has played so well. Lights out this season. A massive addition for the UT Crew roster, and a major reason why now they're 3-3 in this game. On a 4 spree. Now maybe an opportunity to earn some streaks here as Easter making their way through the bar. Yeez once again in this position that was so beneficial to him previously.
Easter slowly but surely going to creep up on this. Gintroid, he finds Jerd for first kill. Dylan Rex playing the back of the alley. John trying to get a little cheeky. He's not going to fall for that. Does take an aggressive challenge, so the spree has been shut down, but comes at cost of a trade here for Easter. 1v3 now for Gravity. Trying to pick off the toes there of Rex, and not going to have too much favor in that gunfight as he's going to take some damage in return. Only about 25 seconds left to try and make this play happen. Phantom, Gintroid, and Rex all know the bomb is down. They are set up, and, well, Rex doesn't move. He holds on. UT Crew, they take 3 straight, and also gives them control of this game as they're up 4-3.
I guess the one positive you do take away from this in the moment is that Fellow did take down Yeez there before he could get any streaks working. So, good play from Fellow to do that. The right player to take out of the equation also in that particular situation. You have 2 options. I mean, you go for the right one there. So, Easter, not in the worst position in the world at the moment, but UT Crew hit. Now 4-3 up, as you say. 3 rounds on the bounce. A resurgence from them, not dissimilar to what we've seen in the overall standings here in Elite Stage 2 in North America. Of course, week number 1 was not kind to them, Austin.
Fellow able to find Yeezy here. First kill, it's good. This is a better start. And Gravity finds the second, and that's going to slow things down drastically. Maybe even another one Rex getting wall banged. Gravity almost able to bring home 2 back-to-back. And you're already about a good 40 seconds in towards this round. Have to somehow get towards this bomb and then attack a site. You're forced to take a gunfight at some point or another if your Phantoms are Rex, and this is going to be just really difficult to try and break down and do. Phantom's back up top. Bomb should be picked up. 74U in the back pocket here for Rex as he scouts out the middle of the map a bit, trying to see if he can maybe catch a player off guard. Gravity up top here again, tags him up, but able to play his life, and now only 30 seconds remaining.
Gravity just throwing shoulders in that window at the moment, just making sure that nobody from UT Crew has got past the defensive line. And, well, they have, but now can Rex do anything with it? He's able to get one. Unfortunately for him, Fellow is round the corner, and now it's Phantoms in a 1 versus 3. Just do what you can, Phantoms, and unfortunately for him, it's not a lot. Easter able to get those first bloods. They stopped UT Crew before they even got going there in that round. A good defensive hold from them.
I think it just comes up the back end of the 2 picks, and that's when we talk about Miami just being really difficult for as far as search and destroy on the attack. When you lose a couple of players early like that, especially your sub players that are supposed to get aggressive with the bomb and try to gain a little bit of map control for you so that you're allowed to push up, it just becomes ever so difficult, never getting any challenges. But, man, it would be a shame not to talk about Fellow right now on this lineup where he is dropping 13 kills, gets 3 more in that round. And with this, maybe they can look to get control of this map once again. Fellow, he's been just going to this curve position just about every single offense, trying to figure out where the setup is exactly here for UT Crew. But this hit is lining up over towards the beach side, and Yeezy, he finds himself in a bit of a corner here where he might be able to convert.
He's in this position, able to get one. Almost gets taken down. There should be a trade here from Gravity, and there is. So now at 3 versus 3, but Easter's push, it has been snuffed out. UT well aware that John and Gravity are over here. There is a secret weapon for Easter. That's going to be Fellow in the mid-map, but John almost explodes. He does get one before falling, so now we're 2 versus 2 here. Phantoms and Gintroid versus Gravity and Fellow. 2 ARs for Easter. The 2 players you realistically want in this position. Fellow spots out Gintroid, goes for the shots, but there it is. Takes too long to get the gunfight. Phantoms comes in for the rescue, and now Gravity, a 1 versus 2. 13 seconds on the clock. Not enough time to really do anything. Has to go for the kills, and unfortunately for him, just not there.
It comes back to this play from Yeezy, right? It stops everything and it slows it down here for himself, where he's able to find a kill just sitting in the corner. Does end up getting traded out, but it gives you the info that, hey, listen, there's multiple members here. This is where the bomb is, and you can look to set up in and around it. UT Crew, they found 3 rounds in a row before to stop the bleeding. Now they're in control as they bounce back as things got tied up. Just one more round to put away, and you go 2-0 up in the series in what could be an impactful win against one of the top squads currently in NA Challengers. Gravity, top visitor center. He gives a peek. Phantoms can't convert for the kill, but John, he's able to find Yeezy in the middle of the map. Does get a first blood here for Easter.
Easter will now slow up this push from UT Crew. John trying to push up. If he can get this kill on Gintroid, this will effectively shut down this round entirely. The support is also there from Fellow. This is a tough one for UT Crew to get out of. Phantom's going to fall now to Jerd. Literally just 2 players left now for UT Crew. Rex does take down 1. John's still under the stairs here. This is now a much more manageable situation. You've got John backing up a little bit to the top of the stairs. Knows that his position was a problem. Ooh. John picking up both, though. A snap from the player that's been away from a year and will now force a round 11.
Oh, way to salvage this play. Just look at the reaction time. Gintroid coming over the wall, and John just locks on him, finds the kill, brings it home. 3 there for John in the round. Round 11 here for us, Brody, just the way we like it. UT Crew, pretty consistent throughout all of those KD ratios. On the other hand, it's been the John and Fellow show throughout the last 10 rounds, and it's going to be an attack for UT Crew. Back towards B. Their bread and butter. Jerd in a bit of a different position. He gets information. Sun goes out, trying to back away and reposition. Will escape with his life as he gets behind the dumpsters, and now the hit from UT Crew slowly unfolding.
I like the aggression from UT Crew here. They know that the quicker they get this bomb down, the less time Easter have to react, but it's not enough. Jerd picks up the kill onto Yeez. Now Jintroid's gonna have to go for a salvage, a rescue mission. Jerd actually takes down his teammate with a nade. Jerd gonna make up for that by picking up another kill, but now a 2 versus 3. Rex is in a horrendous position. Phantoms is in no man's land as far as this player is concerned. Rex somehow staying alive, somehow playing his life here, getting hunted down by Jerd and Gravity. Finally, Gravity finishes him off, and now they have the information as to where Phantoms is here in this 1v2.
Oh, they know the bomb's down, however, and Phantoms, he's gonna have to take a difficult challenge, rather, in behind one of these walls, and it might just be up against Jerd. He spots him. He's going to have to lay it. He's got 15 seconds left. Jordan, Gravity looking over him. They're going to find the toes at Easter. They bring this one back. They had a hot start. They let up on the gas a bit, but in the end, they will be able to clutch things up in the final round. And it comes back to this play from Jordan. He finds one here, Brody. It looks scary as the nade does tag up John, but he's able to make up for it as he brings home the 2-piece.
I really thought that nade was going to be the end of Easter in that round. I was like, yep, we're coming back to that nade later on, but it was a massive clutch from them there. I will say, in that round 11, I'm not entirely convinced by the play from Rex and Phantoms. I think I would have much preferred if Phantoms did come to play with Rex in that 2 versus 3 there. I like the play for the most part. I mean, you're trying to make the play. You're trying to even the numbers. It just doesn't work out for them there. And that round 11 will go the way of Easter. Great performances from Fellow and John. I mean, this is just, it's textbook for these players. They've been playing this game long enough to make performances like that regular.
Truly have, and this was just such a hot start from Fellow. You see it on the scoreboard here where he's just 6-1, 7-1, and he's just finding so many kills at the start of this map, and it's little moments like these from Yeezy that he had throughout this map that allowed them to maybe come back in towards it. A couple of clutch plays. John also getting in towards the mix where, you know, between the two, they put up well over 20, doing everything they possibly can to make sure that they do not go 2-0 down. A lot of big plays here. Yeezy able to also win out on a couple of clutches that kind of played the difference, but a very back and forth search and destroy all the way through for us, Brody. In the end, clutched up for Easter. Just big numbers being put up, a lot of ice-up plays, and they're going to tie things up as we get ready to jump in towards the control.
Absolutely. A very close search and destroy, though, and I think that'll be the positive to take away from that one if you're a UT Crew. You know, you did force around 11 there, and albeit, yes, you were 5-4 up. Yes, you managed to come back from 3-1 down, but still a very close search and destroy game there. And this gives us some interesting implications for the remainder of this series. Let's take a look at our map set to really show you guys how the remainder of this series will close out. Austin is going to be sitting there giggling, very happy at the moment, because we will be seeing an Apocalypse Hardpoint in map number 4, the first that you and I will get to cast in this game thus far. But before we get to that point, we will be having a raid control Austin. Interesting stat lines here for these two teams. 4 and 2 are Easter in control in stage 2, but UT Crew 2 and 4. Again, though, asterisk on that, they did not have a good week 1.
Not a great week 1. That's very, very true. And if for whatever reason it feels like, you know, some squads are able to just kind of put that behind them, bounce back extremely hard going in towards this week 2, and that's something that UT Crew simply have done after, you know, the tough week 1. They've now looked way better, and this should be an interesting map for them, I think, coming in towards it. Easter, like you had said, 4 and 2 in control, looking pretty solid all the way through. They're 2 and 1 on raid, so I feel like you're feeling pretty good overall about that. Other hand, just 1 and 1 right now for the side of UT Crew, as they are 2 and 4. So one of the 2 wins that they have gotten in this game mode is on raid. I guess that's the one positive you can kind of take away going in towards this map. But knowing that John and Fellow just came off a performance like that, it's not easy maybe to come back in towards this one and try and shut these guys down early, especially knowing that they should be a strong respawn team. And with the way that you had won in map 1, let's be honest, Brody, didn't really feel like that's the Easter squad that we've come to know after coming in and qualifying with this new lineup. A lot of vets being on this team, and when you kind of associate a lot of veterans coming in towards the scene and with a team like this, like, you feel like they should be able to run over maybe some of these younger squads that might have a lot of skill and a lot of talent, but maybe don't have all of the experience just yet. But UT Crew is certainly giving them a run for their money so far.
Yeah, I think the one thing I will say is, even though that map number 1 didn't go your way, and maybe that's not what we have come to expect from these veteran players, the good thing about being veteran players is you've been in positions like this hundreds of times with Fellow, with Jerd, with John. All of them have been in positions where you might get railed in one of these maps. You put that right to the back of your mind, and that is the advantage of being a veteran player, is that you know exactly what to do in the situation from a mental perspective. That will already be out of their minds. I think for these players, they know exactly how to play these situations. Even Gravity, who is the newest player on this roster, even he has played long enough to know that it's got no bearing on the rest of this series as far as they're concerned. They're going to be going into this raid control with a fresh mind. Certainly relieved that they did win that round 11 versus UT Crew. It'll be very interesting to see how this control goes. Of course, as we said, Easter, they've looked pretty good in control throughout the entirety of stage 2. We'll see now whether they're able to win their 5th control here.
Can they do it? Taking this map mode combination away for UT Crew could do wonders for them heading in towards the map number 4. And, well, attacking first will, in fact, be UT Crew, as Yeezy finds himself on A, trying to finesse the best he possibly can, but he's got too many members to deal with. So Easter are able to regain control quite easily. We're able to also push up inside of ring, making it difficult. Phantom's not allowed to make a play. Fellow comes away with 2, clears out the zone, and now UT Crew have to rethink their next push.
They do indeed. Easter, they've got Fellow on top of this power position. We'll see what he's able to do. Looking for the second snaps on the Phantoms. Doesn't get that kill, but we'll just push UT Crew away for now. The pressure being built up by Easter is momentous. UT Crew got to find a way out of their spawn, because at the moment they're running out of time. They're down by a significant amount of lives here. This has been a solid start from Easter, and now maybe an opportunity open up here as UT Crew make their way through Villa. Jerd is going to fall, and now UT Crew looking to make some progress in B.
That's their opening, but John does find a pretty important kill, and Rex might feel obligated to challenge, but John almost takes all 3 of them down. A single bullet is all that's needed, and the nade is what actually takes the life away from Rex. Jintroid on a pinch, finds the timing. Can he find 2? Yes, he can. Jintroid clears out everyone in the basketball court, gets rid of the trophy. One more here. John off the spawn. Can he find him? He can't. John trying to play his life, but Easy quick for the trades, as it's still tension on B. That second tick about to come through, working to see if they can get all 3.
This would be a huge clutch if they're able to do this. They're down by so many lives at the moment. If they could make this one work, well, for the mental game, for sure, that would put Easter in not the best position. But hey, they're able to get a few kills in their favor. They make a nice, quick to easy to eat meal out of the B zone. And now we move over towards the A zone as the target of attack. It is a much easier point to take, but you do not have the lives to make this one work, really.
That's exactly it. You might have gotten the zone, but it comes at a cost of so many lives being invested. So you have to do this now with 7 and 55 seconds left on the clock. And John, he's already chipping away at them. Starting to push up on the map. John for 2 here. Jintroid can't get that trade immediately, but will in fact do so in the end. Gravity pushed up. Also, just being a bit of a nuisance, as it has to come through on this push, but only 3 lives remaining. Not looking too good right now for the side of UT Crew. Just need to clean up these last couple of kills. John on the pinch, not going to be able to find it. Phantoms does find 2, so they do manage to get themselves on the zone, but remember, as soon as they die, they don't exactly have any respawns coming in, with Fellow finding 1, make that 2, maybe even a 3rd. Not needed. His teammates come in, they collapse. Easter, they're still able to lock down the defense here for round 1.
And that was a case of really too little too late from UT Crew. They may well have captured the B zone, but by that point, the damage was absolutely done. What, in the first, I want to say 30 to 45 seconds, it was legitimately 2 lives lost. 2 for this Easter lineup. They bullied them into the spawn, and I think it just took too long for UT Crew to break that spell, and of course that puts Easter on such a great footing here going into their offensive round. We know that Raid is an offensively sided map here in Control, and of course that life differential is pretty helpful later down the line if we do go to a round number 5.
Oh, we switch sides here. Gravity opens up with Yeezy. Already on towards the A zone, stacking it with 3 members. Progress going to absolutely cruise on by. Trophy system down, so nades aren't good for the retake right away, but through the middle of the map they come, and Rex is able to find a bit of an opening. Gravity forced to back away, doesn't have the teammates, and Rex brings the fight to him, takes him down for 2. And we'll have a nice retake here for the side of UT Crew, and now they shift their attention towards B, as that's where the hit's about to unfold for Easter. Phantoms
is going to pick up that 1 kill, so now Easter going to have to go back to square one, going to have to go straight off the respawn. They are spawning pretty close to B though, so that will be their target of attack. Phantoms is over here, is able to pick up 1. You should see Rex now starting to pick up the slack. Easter going to be preparing themselves for this push, but at the moment UT Crew doing a great job of chipping away at this offensive line. Gravity and Jerd, though, able to filter on through open steps. Gintroid is there. He does pick up Jerd, so a good defense coming out from UT Crew, and now with 35 seconds left, you're going to see the smart play coming out from Easter. We can't get onto B, just get the easy point done, get onto A.
Easy, though, almost a chance to be able to disrupt that entire play itself. You need this cap to almost go through, and with a lot of the players dropping for UT Crew, it could just be their opportunity to try and pounce Jerd under fire, but he's bobbing and weaving, just trying to bait out a few of the shots. Arrows watching over him. Rex able to get one, maybe playing for some exits there, but overall, UT Crew, they're going to chalk this one up. So we take a look at the Lifes. Easter up by 1, as they got a minute and a half of the clock to start working towards B.
And look at the first couple of kills. Goes in favor of Easter. Make it 3. Why the hell not? Gintroid, the last player left alive here. He's going to have to back on up for the moment. And now UT Crew, you've got to get on this point quickly because Easter, they've stacked it. They're all on it. They're all making the progression in. Nobody from UT Crew is willing to jump on it. They're just not looking to waste lives at this point. And UT Crew, they take so long to play that retake methodically. Easter, no. They have all the power in that position and they wield it correctly.
Just able to clutch up there too. It's just a moment of, you know, if UT Crew win one more set of gunfights by that A zone, stop them from getting a capture. That extra minute of time doesn't come through, and they're able to tie things up. And yeah, they find a convincing rotation as they wipe them off the map and just flood on towards that zone. Up 2-0. UT Crew really feeling a lot of that punishment that was happening in towards that map 1, but now in reverse, as this very well could be a 3-0 if Easter can keep this tempo of play going here for themselves. Round 3, something needs to come through on the attack. UT Crew going to opt in towards the favored site here at A, and it will be Fellow who finds the first blood. John almost able to snap on Phantoms for what could have been a pretty big kill. Yeezy, though, he gets a bit of space to push out the back of Laundry, finds a win, almost a second, but that's fine because they're already getting progress on it.
And this is what I need to see from UT Crew, to be honest with you, Austin. I need to see them start pushing this out more, like we just saw from Yeezy there. I need to see Phantoms, for example, in this situation, get a little bit aggressive, try and make sure that Easter don't get too much room to breathe here. Of course, Gravity does fall on through, but trade is made. UT Crew should have this A zone without a problem. So now, 2.5 minutes on the clock. That is a ton of time to work with if you're a UT Crew.
Working for kills now. That could be your goal for UT Crew. Well, Gintroid in the back. It's going to draw some attention away. It was stacked there with Dylan Rex, but Phantoms dropped simultaneously, so now it's easy. He's kind of just making a solo play. Doesn't have his teammates with him. Well, with lots of time, some will be burned off the clock here for Easter, doing a good job of controlling Kitchen, and now they get positioned in towards the middle of the map, so things get a little bit more difficult. Gravity and John both convert for a kill. John almost for a second. Trade good for Gravity again, just controlling all of the pacing, all of the respawns. One more inch towards the back here. Gravity trying to lock him down. Gets to 74U. Says, goodbye, Gintroid. That's my spawn. We got that on lock. UT Crew back to square one again as they have to find something on the attack and work through the middle of the map.
UT Crew, what do you even do in this situation? I mean, you've got to find an opening somewhere. Do you hit this with a 2-2 split, trying to make sure that the player inside bedroom does fall, trying to make sure that you get some progression around the back line? Honestly, Easter is set up so thinly here that they're prepared for every eventuality, and, well, Fellow wins a crucial gunfight over towards bedroom, so that much control is still there, but UT Crew gearing up for a hit in from behind. Phantoms and Rex able to win their ones. Gravity and Jerd, though, in for the trades, and now just Rex close by. Gintroid is in the mid-map, but Rex, realistically, isn't going to have any help for a few seconds. No trades to be made. Easter surge back on through the point, but UT Crew not done with this just yet. Phantoms still left up there, and Easter just playing this one extremely carefully. They do not want to give up this life advantage if they don't have to.
Oh, UT Crew, they're in such a tough spot right now, only having 8 lives to their name. They do at least convert with a couple kills back in their favor, but yeah, they got to get on the zone. 30 seconds now left on that clock. Have to find this round. Yeezy able to get one and then escapes with his life. Gravity for a trade is there. Can Gravity get himself 3? Won't get the immediate challenge, but Phantoms does hop on the zone now. That first tick looks to be secured. Here comes the reinforcements. Rex is able to shut down 2. Gravity with an answer. 4 in a row. Gintroid also looking to challenge him. Will be able to find the kill. Now low on lives. 4-2. UT Crew, Yeezy, and Rex have to clutch up in order to keep this going. And Yeezy's able to find one, but make it all up to Rex. He has to find a 1v3 and get on this zone. The time is playing against him. He gets himself one. Fellow doesn't give him the challenge, and well, there is little to no time remaining. Rex can't make it. They go down. Easter, clean sweep in the map number 3 to pull ahead in the series 2-1.
That was clean. That was very clean from this Easter side. I mean, they made it look so easy on the defense, pretty much both occasions, and they made a few risks as well. I think that was what really made the difference there, especially in that round number 3, right? They weren't necessarily committing to just holding down one lane, right? They split themselves up, trusted each other to win their ones, and they were able to do that there in that round number 3. But more than anything, right? I mean, we've spoken before at length about how damaging losing raid control offenses are because of how offensively sided that map actually is. As soon as round number 1 went the way of Easter, from a mental state perspective, that puts them in a lot of confidence.
I mean, it absolutely does. It just felt like there was really a grip hold on that game the whole way through, and whether you call it clutch plays that ended up playing out here for us for a few of the rounds on attack, or whether it was just great teamwork, I mean, it doesn't exactly matter what you call it. The fact is that they're able to come away with 3 rounds that were all very, very clean. They never really felt like they were under too much pressure, and they were always able to deal with it, making the correct play. John also, you know, you have to kind of highlight what he's able to do here. A couple of sprees that just give them the numbers advantage. And a lot of these rounds, you know, it comes down to the lives in the final moments that Easter are slowly but surely building up through just the slaying power, the good positioning, playing off trades, and always coming out with a numbers advantage, just giving them a slight edge if it does come down to the wire.
Yeah, and one thing we do have to point out as well, Fellow played that game extremely well, right? He's really started to pick up the pace here. Gravity also there, playing the AR ult to perfection. This Easter squad has woken up here, a complete flip to what we saw in map number 1, where, to be frank, they got decimated. And, well, the Search and Destroy, it was a clutch from them there, but this control, that was an epic moment for them. Of course, I will say in the series, that is a map that we expected them to win, right? I mean, they are, after all, 4-2, now 5-2 in that game mode at the end of stage number 2. And of course, UT Crew hadn't had that great of a time in control. So that was a map we needed them to win. They do so. Now we go back to Hardpoint. And going into the series, I thought this was going to be a mode, where UT Crew, they need to win it. This is where they need to win. This is their bread and butter. They're 7-3 in this game mode. Of course, now 8-3 going into this series. And, well, I mean, for that reason, not only because they're 2-1 down in the series, obviously, if they will lose this, they lose the series. But I think this becomes a must-win map overall in terms of just looking at the series. You know, the hard points are so crucial for them.
And it's Apocalypse, Brody. This is what we've been waiting for. It's almost like the COD gods gave it to us, too. They said, let's get map 3 over with as fast as possible. Let's get in towards the map we want to see. I think we're very thrilled to be watching Apocalypse here between both of these squads. It's a very new map, leans towards the rotation. And, well, teams have now had at least a couple of weeks to start prepping and practicing for it. So they should have a pretty good idea for as far as what they're looking to do, how the rotation should look like, excuse me. But setups might still be, you know, kind of an issue, right? Especially for these squads that maybe aren't as experienced. I feel like the one advantage you could give to a lot of these teams that, you know, have some of these veteran players on, like Easter, when you're looking at John, who's been in the scene for a very, very long time, Fellow, Jerd even, you know, way back when playing against John, when we're kind of thinking about that Black Ops 2 era into the rest of the games afterwards, you might give them a slight edge for as far as figuring out things maybe a little bit quicker than these players who are maybe a little bit younger, coming in towards the scene, might just have the raw talent and skill to kind of carry them through and allow them to rise to the top. But it's really, I think, the vets that are able to come in towards the maps and figure some of these initial setups out, figure out how they want to play it, how they should be playing it, that might just give them enough to be able to close this one out here in 4.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the one maybe advantage to being younger here and maybe less experienced would be that a team like Easter aren't necessarily going to know what Yeez and Gintroid are going to do. You know, they haven't played these guys tons over the years, maybe besides Gravity, and of course we did see Fellow play a pretty crucial part in challenges last year. But outside of that, I mean, this Easter squad won't have played Yeez and Gintroid that much. So it's kind of like not having that full idea of what they're going to do, not knowing the players' personalities to an extent, right? You know, are they going to ego challenge this? Because you kind of know that after a while, right? You kind of learn what players are going to do. So there is somewhat of an advantage here, and of course you're playing on a relatively new battleground, so maybe you can expect Yeast and Gintroid, who of course are the SMG players on this UT crew lineup, to use that to your advantage, but who knows. The way I see this though is John is going to be the big threat on this map, and let's just take a moment to talk about John generally, right, Austin, because he has been away from Call of Duty for an entire year. He hasn't played the game in a competitive setting for that period of time, maybe outside of playing some 8s, playing some scrims with his friends. He comes back into the scene over the last few months, and now he is back where I think he belongs, right at the top of his game. He is one of the best players on this Easter lineup.
I would say for sure. I mean, John just brings so much to the table, and we learned that through the Jetpack era when, you know, he was simply one of the best for as far as winning and understanding what it takes to be able to actually come away with a W in the series. That's something that John has always been great at. He is, you know, known for being one of the best SMGs of all time, and I feel like he wants to get back on that form. He's showing us that he deserves to be, because he's putting up the numbers, he's putting up the stats. I mean, they're putting up the wins as well, which, you know, they find themselves already 5-1 with a potential chance to be able to lock in first place pending they come out on top of this, because, you know, we also get an update here, Brody, that Fantastic Four won their matchup, so they do in fact lock a playoff spot. If Easter wins, they will be number 1, as they have the head-to-head. If they lose, then they will start in the KO bracket. So there is a lot to kind of take in for as far as this matchup and what it means, and closing it out here is exactly what you want to do. You don't want any additional pressure maybe kind of relying on you or weighing on your back going in towards what would maybe be that map number 5. So closing things out here would be the idea. And also interesting fact is that both teams have already played this once, and both teams have come out with a win here, Brody. So one will remain flawless, the other will experience their very first loss in Apocalypse.
Is it wrong for me to want Easter to lose this series only because if they end up with the 3rd seed, then they face, I'm pretty sure it's Wester in round 1 of the knockout bracket. And of course, that Easter versus Wester has been not necessarily a little bit of beef today, but a little bit of competition going on. Easter set up their Twitter today for the first time. A mystery name has essentially ripped everything that Wester has done and made a mockery of it, which I absolutely love, by the way. It's just, it's top level fun coming out from Easter. They're building a brand here with Gravity, of course, the key name, I think, coming over from that Wester roster. So, Apocalypse Hardpoint, we go into this one between Easter and UT Crew. UT Crew need to win it to stay alive in this series. And of course, Easter, well, they need to win it to guarantee themselves this series win and a place in the playoffs.
Well, it's Apocalypse, ladies and gentlemen. Brody and I's first time casting over the map. We are thrilled. We hope you're excited as well. And so far, UT Crew, they look pretty excited as they get themselves the first 9 points up on the board. And, well, keep in mind as well, the UT Crew, they're going to have the favorite spawns leading in towards that second hill. So they want to try to hold on towards this the best they can. Easy does push forward a little bit to try and create some space towards the middle of the map here, as Rex making sure no one slips through, but John with some clean shots, able to turn, finds the kill. A Kobe thrown as well from Jerd to be able to open up some space, and now they can look to press forward.
But look at UT Crew, they're spawning out for this next rotation, and that's why you're seeing both Yeast and Gintroid at the moment, making sure, checking that back ruins area to make sure that nobody is around there, because of course Rex and Phantoms have spawned in Neverland as far as they're concerned, but they've managed to make their way back across the map. They clutch up for the moment, and now are back in control of this P2 hardpoint on goal. We'll see if they're able to hold on to it at the moment, as Yeast is now pushing up, searching for this player. That is going to be Jerd. He's managed to break the defensive line, but first couple of kills are going to go UT3's way, and actually going all the way over towards goal. It's going to be Fellow able to break on through. Yeez is going to have to come over to offer some support for his team. Will actually end up getting one, but Easter starting to mount up pressure here. They've got one player who's filtered through. That's going to be Fellow. They will hunt him down. Rex able to pick up 2, and UT Crew looking to get the remainder of this time.
Yeah, and you're figuring out the difficulty of getting in towards this point when you don't have the favored spawns. They will give over the scrap time, which is fine because you can already see UT Crew looking to make this rotation. John almost snaps on Phantoms where it looks like he's already starting to get kills he almost shouldn't. Phantoms will hold his ground, finds the trade. Dylan Rex can't find the kill on towards Gravity, so there's a bit of an opening moving over towards P3 as the game is just about tied. 5 points separating both. Jerd finds himself in the point first, so successful rotation so far, but doesn't have all the support. Needs to win a gunfight out front, doesn't do so, and now a chance maybe for UT Crew to break on through.
Gravity able to pick up 2. Easter going to get back in control of this hardpoint for now. UT Crew spawning up to the top left of your mini-map, so they're going to have to filter on through. And this is a really hard one to break, actually, from that side. If you've got a player inside the ditch like John, well, pretty easy one to hold. If your Easter is John, going to contribute. Gravity now on a 4 spree. Easter starting to lock up on the majority of this time, and you got to make sure you shut down Gravity from this spree. You do not want to let him go off. We've spoken about this before. He is a player that, if he does go off, it'll be huge for the team. He will get shut down off those streaks, so Easter gonna be removed from that scrap time, and now gonna have to focus on the rotation.
Yeah, we look towards Ruins here. A hill that isn't always the easiest to hold. There's not a lot of cover when you're looking in and around what we have right in front of Fellow. But if you can win some of the gunfights, it does allow you to start getting some time, and Fellow able to play his life despite being one shot here. Easy looking for him, but Fellow for 3 in a row. Able to now push in towards the back, maybe even playing for a flip in the spawns. Gets behind Rex, finds the kill with the help of Gravity. And Easter, a beautiful rotation over towards the Ruins as they will have the spawns and control the hill.
Dangerous here for Easter as they manage to make their way into the rotation. UT Crew now going to have to find their way in. And again, this is a pretty hard one to break. Fellow able to get one, turns around for Rex, but unfortunately for him, Phantom also applies the pressure. Hello, just switches to his secondary, but Rex is there, able to pick up his 3rd in a row, and now Easter pushed out of the hardpoint. UT Crew holding them extremely close at the moment, and at the end of this hardpoint here, Austin, we have effectively a tied game. It's felt like it's been tied for basically the entirety of this game so far.
Very back and forth, and it's Easter, coming in with a big resurgence there on P3 that allows them to make sure that this game is in fact tied. Easy needs to try and play up top. He gets good timing. Hill's contested. Jerd gets the info on the contention, but can't win the battle. His teammate will in fact do so. Now Jintroid up top needs to try and play his life as John looks to try and flush him out. Nade not great, but Jintroid does work himself back in towards the point. Assistance now in, but good help here from John and Jerd as they take care of everyone. They get the spawns, they break the hill, and Easter look to now take the lead over this first game.
I'm getting deja vu. Once again, it's Easter breaking on in within the first 20 seconds, and now they're in to earn some time here. Jerd picks up 2. Wow. Dirty kills from Jerd there, able to pick up a couple, and now Easter looking to expand their lead here. I really love this play from Jerd. Preemptive play at that to make sure you rotate for the next hard point as he does end up picking 1. If he can take down Rex here also, it would be huge. Unfortunately, isn't able to do that, and it was a valiant effort from Jerd. But to be honest with you, this is the biggest lead we've had in this game so far. Easter, hold on to that time.
You got to give props over towards who we have here in the back, which is going to be Rex. He realizes that the hill might be lost. I need to simply move towards New and make sure we have spawns for P2. But spawns might not matter if you don't exactly get on towards P1. Easter now starting to pull ahead a bit off the last hill on this one. John still staying alive in and around the point. Gravity from the side will get wall banged. And finally, we're going to see some white flood in towards that feed as UT Crew are able to flood just about everyone out, get some control over the middle of the map, and look to soak up some time.
This needs to be time for UT Crew. You do not want to let Easter run away with this game. He has so much to do here. He goes for the punch before the shot. Unfortunately, that's not how a shot punch works, Jeez. As now Easter break on in for this last 20 seconds of time. Now, the positive here for UT Crew is you do have the rotation effectively locked in, but with Easter, that could change at any moment as now they look to push on through for these rotational gunfights. Fellow picks up Jintroid. Should be spawning close by, but no, the pressure from Easter all the way back in the temple means that UT Crew gonna spawn out. This is a good rotation from them. Comes down a 1v1 with Fellow versus Yeez. Fellow wins it. No, he doesn't. Yeez comes out on top of that gunfight somehow. Easter still spawning in the back though. They're looking to apply the pressure.
They have to win the gunfights, though. You can see 2 players end up now spawning out here for Easter. Jerd needs to go big here with the help of Gravity. They're both low, and Yee comes alive. Able to clean up just about everyone. Rex finds the 4th, and this is crucial time for UT Crew to be able to make sure that they do not fall too far behind in the game. So 25 seconds to play for. Gravity maybe trying to work his way towards the scrap time. It will be blocked here from Easy and towards the middle as Phantoms is watching over him. And right back in the game we go. Neck and neck, Brody, the whole way through. UT Crew just about tie things up here with a scrap time.
A massive hardpoint rotation coming out from UT Crew there. They needed to make sure that Easter did not get ahead. Well, as you say, we're back to effectively even here at the end of that hardpoint. It's exactly even as Easter Already there over towards the rotation. Jintroid trying to make his way on through. Unfortunately for him, he is going to get taken down, but Gravity has quite a lot to do here. Fellow is with him, so there is some support to be had. But as Rex picks up one, Phantoms picks up Gravity, Phantom picks up John as well. A good break coming in from UT Crew. They're going to force Easter to spawn out now. And once again, it's just this back and forth hardpoint that we're seeing here on Apocalypse.
Great adjustments. Last time UT Crew, they struggled to really get in towards this point and then hold it down. That's now changed where they get the early break, and now they're going to retake control as the lead change goes back in their favor. Rex on 3 is going to stop John from coming in, get support in from behind, and now we look towards the rotation again with about 15 seconds of scrap time left. It should go the way of UT Crew. So we make our way over towards Ruins, where we'll see if Easter can actually get some time, but Jintroid already on the move. He finds 2. Can he get in towards the back and find John? This would be a big kill, and Easy actually able to get it. So they clear out the spawns, they get control of Ruins, and they're right back on the time, Brody.
UT Crew, massive break here. Not only did you get a lot of time off the back of that last hardpoint, but now you're on Ruins and you're starting to earn some time of your own. You could well finish it here as well if you have a solid hold, but maybe getting ahead of ourselves a little bit here as Easter will want to break on in. John, who has just been stellar for this Easter lineup, looking to come in from behind. He's able to pick up one. Yeez is going to go out for the challenge, but John, he punishes, and UT Crew now going to have to make their way in through gold. Easter wins some of those gunfights, and John doesn't necessarily single-handedly break this hard point, but he most certainly has a rather large hand in doing it.
5 in a row streaks here. Could just be enough for Easter to bring things back, and Gravity breaks the nose of Yeezy. Tries to creep up on him. The AR player says, I'll have none of that. We make our rotation to the last hill in our second set of hills. And Jerd starting to heat up himself as he stops 2 players from making their way in towards the point. Ammo is a hill that you can collect so much time on, and what a time to be able to get here and do it. Easter down about 25 points with the initial control and everyone absolutely frying. John's still on a spree here, Brody. He might be able to get himself towards streaks.
This is huge, John. If he can get these streaks, it will close the door, I think, on this game. To be honest, this map is so open. Streaks are devastating for UT Crew. John looking for it, will get it. Nice assist coming in there from from his teammate, as now Jintroid going to take out John. But the streak is in, so the artillery strike has been earned. Easter now on this hard point. Fellow about to face down Rex and Phantoms here. He is going to fall, and UT Crew looking to break on in.
Oh man, John almost found the double up here. What a time to break. They had to do it because Easter could have actually won here on P5, but we will at least go one more hill, and now it's Gravity on its free. But you have to remember, John having this artillery strike could just play the difference. The problem is that Easter have not been able to actually get any control over P2, but the game very well might just end for us on P1. UT Crew with initial control, a chance to send it towards game 5. John is going to call in the artillery strike. What can he find? John gets one. Jerd finds a second. 238 to 240. UT Crew still in control. Can they do this and close it out? John might be forced to make a play, but he falls down to Rex. Phantoms now in the point, gets help from Yeezy and Phantoms, and they are looking great. One last contest. It comes through, but it's not enough. UT Crew, they hold on, and they will send it one more map.
What an ending to that game. UT Crew, they're able to hold on. A solid performance from all 4 players there, realistically. But what a game. What an introduction to Apocalypse Hardpoint for you and I here, Austin, on the cast. UT Crew. It's a close one, and that was just close all the way throughout, right? Neck and neck were those 2 teams. I really thought we were going to see some serious separation there at the end of Ruing's hardpoint, where we really did feel like UT Crew, they really started to pull away. But once again, it was John coming in clutch for this Easter side and continued to make it close. What a hardpoint from these 2 teams here, Austin. We're going to game 5.
Going to game 5, and there was just so many moments where you could look back on that and think, man, there is just such an insane setup and just good realization from the side of UT Crew to understand that they need to play on the P2 side of the map because there are so many favorable positions for the ARs that are looking over the middle of the map. And I mean, a lot of what you're doing is kind of battling uphill almost, making it towards that temple, right? So it could be very hard for the subs to kind of find any value if your ARs aren't dealing with those positions in particular. So because of it, they're able to find a lot of value, come out ahead and get the majority of their points, it feels like, more or less on on those hills. But yeah, Brody, that was a banger, man. I hope we get a lot more Apocalypse in the rotation because Elite Change happened, I mean, multiple times, and it was just an absolute back and forth the whole way through.
I'll tell you what, one thing I am still certain of, though, is John is very good at this game. His streak almost solidified that for Easter, and I think that's actually a good point, isn't it? That UT Crew, they played that streak really well. They were probably well aware of the fact that John had one. Of course, you are aware at the back of your mind when somebody is on a spree, and they'll be aware that John maybe would have had it. So they kind of played it a little bit more reserved, played under the canopy, and they're able to work it really well. Of course, UT Crew clutching up in the end. A game 5 here on the cards, Austin. I am so excited to get into this one. We're going to be going to checkmate. And honestly, Austin, it's been such a crazy series so far. We spoke about Search and Destroy before we got into this, talking about the fact that both of these teams, they did not have a bad record here on this game mode. Of course, game number 2, as we bring up our map set here for this series, did end up going the way of Easter. However, it was a round 11 victory, and they were close to losing it.
Very close. I mean, that was also, pretty neck and neck. Felt like there was a moment where UT Crew probably could have closed that one out, getting themselves, a slight advantage. But in the end, it was just a lot of big individual plays that kind of played a bit of a factor there for us. And yeah, that was a massive map for Easter to take away. But like you said, we go towards a map 5. It's a checkmate, search and destroy that we have lined up here for ourselves, Brody. And besides the map 1 and I guess the map number 3, things have been so relatively close. And we talk about a 6-5 coming through, on that second map here. Checkmate, very similar in a lot of ways for as far as how the ARs are going to be kind of functioning on the map and looking to be able to kind of make plays. But we talked about John. We highlight him a lot throughout this entire series. And, well, in towards the middle of the plane is exactly where he's going to be looking to go. We'll see if he can maybe bring some more of that heading in towards this map 5, where this is, again, such a massive win, because if they beat UT Crew here, they will solidify the first spot for NA Challengers heading in towards playoffs.
Absolutely. Easter looking for the number 1 spot. I mean, what a performance that would be from them. But honestly, I think for a checkmate, search and destroy here, I think the key thing is if you're on offense and you've got Jerd and John on your team, use them to brute force your way through the plane.
Sure.
They need to be the ones entry killing, making sure you take out who will probably be Rex and Phantoms, either one of them. On that, of course, the heady of the chairs inside that plane. So if you can just make sure you get control of the plane, honestly, as long as Jerd and John are in there, they should be fine to hold on to any given offense. But this is a very defensively sided search and destroy map. I'd argue that it is probably the most defensively sided search and destroy map we have now in the game, now that we don't play Garrison Search and Destroy.
True.
So this is going to be a tough one to crack. It really, it's going to come down to a few clutch moments. That's how I feel this one's going to go. Of course, now I've said that, as always, cast a curse. Whenever I say something like that, this is going to be a 6-0 Search and Destroy, major anti-climax. That's just how these things go, Austin.
Hey, it might be opposite day, Brody. We said that we might not get to see the Apocalypse, and now that you called out the cast a curse, I think that reverses them. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Either way, checkmate coming through here for us. You talked about it, very defensive, and because of that, it almost makes you kind of go for some of these plays that sometimes we question whether it was the correct one or not, but you have to kind of make moves through the lanes, because one bomb site, you can't exactly attack. It's not really an option unless it comes down to 1v1. So as we talk about the plane, everything kind of unfolds there. And the only other time we kind of see plays being made is if you're able to find a window to push through the left or the right side, get in behind the stairs and kind of find a flank through the plane, or be able to get in towards your opponent's spawn. That's kind of the factor that you have available to you on offense, unless you're looking to just brute force your way through, force the gunfights, and try to get a bomb down. That's really like all the plays you kind of have available to yourself, besides a couple of maybe situational moments that play out just a tad bit different. So this really does come down to a lot of what your subs are going to be able to do in the plane, because if they're not winning gunfights, then, well, pressure on the ARs to kind of pick up that slack, and you do not want to be in the middle of the plane with a Krieg 6 trying to battle out against the 74U. So we'll in fact see how that kind of comes together here for ourselves. But have to talk about the bounce back here for UT Crew. The fact that they are forcing this to a map 5 after the horrendous start they had towards week 1, and have now picked up a lot of that slack, looking to go strong, taking down a team like Easter, heading in towards the playoffs here, Brody. Just think of what that would do for a squad that almost looked like they were going to break up after stage 1, even though stage 1, wasn't all that terrible for them.
Yeah, I think this UT Crew roster, they are such a good team. You know, I rated them since stage one. You know, they played extremely well. They just haven't had a good run recently. I think you do really need to highlight that. While I think prior to stage one playoffs, they'd ended up getting, I think it was second in 3 consecutive Challengers Cups. After that, it was a pretty dry spell for this squad. Top 16s, top 12s, what have you, in the Open, for example. It was not a good run for this team, as simple as that. And you can kind of understand, I guess, to an extent why they did want to make a roster change. Something clearly wasn't working. But I am glad that they have stuck together because there is so much individual talent on this UT Crew roster. I particularly do rate Rex and Phantoms highly. I think Phantoms in particular is one of the hidden gems, I would say, that we have here in the North American Challenger scene in terms of that AR role. He is extremely proficient, of course. It does help now that we're in a QBZ meta that he's pretty good with the AR. And then, of course, Rex, of course, plays the flex role to perfection. And then, of course, to round out the roster, you do have Jinchoid and Yeez, both of whom are extremely proficient SMG players. And, well, they certainly help when they get aggressive, especially Yeez, by the way. I mean, there's just something about young players, isn't there, that just have so much confidence, so much exuberance. And that is Yeez in a nutshell, effectively. If they can really utilize that effectively here, maybe they'll have their own Jerd or John, right?
Well, listen, there's something about S&D stars in the scene that have been able to make their way in towards the professional scene. I think Illy is the exact example of that. When we've seen this guy winning tournaments when he was 12 and 13 years old, it's the same story that I was telling, you know, throughout this the game number 2 on Miami. Like, Yeezy has spent so much time playing with Tupac, who was, you know, the S&D analyst last year on Chicago Huntsman. Like, when you're around a player like that, who is, you know, one of the most winning OLT players, you know, in general through Call of Duty history, you play with him for years and years and years on end, and it just teaches you so much, and you just soak that up, especially as a young team where you have someone to look up to, and it just improves your overall gameplay, improves your overall skill, and what you're going to be able to bring towards a team, which is likely going to be someone who's probably pretty vocal, right? Making a lot of those shot calls and trying to figure out, you know, what the setup is or how they're looking to play it, because he's been in that situation so many times already. It's just a matter of learning variant, which it doesn't seem like he's struggling with whatsoever. So yeah, it puts a lot of emphasis on a young gun like this that's able to come in towards the scene and do this much and have an impact that is absolutely insane. And yeah, you absolutely turn your attention towards him because of what he's been able to do thus far. So it is pretty incredible. Now, looks like we are just waiting for one last player to get in towards the lobby, but interesting stat is that both teams actually 2-1 here for ourselves on Checkmate. So last time around on Apocalypse for us, Brody, it was both teams 1-0. Now it's both teams 2-1. So they very much share the same map pool. And I mean, set strats absolutely going to be a thing here for both these squads.
Well, if that Apocalypse tells us anything about these guys with their records, this should be around 11, right? Surely, Austin.
Surely.
Or I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not going to reverse jinx the reverse jinx that I just did here. I ain't doing that. I'm just excited to get into this one, to be honest with you, Austin. It's going to be a great great game 5 between these two teams. You know, as we've already prefaced quite a bit here, we simply didn't expect UT Crew to bounce back in the manner they did. Honestly, I thought at the end of week number 1 that they were in a horrible position, and I really didn't know if they were going to bounce back. I thought, you know, this might be the end for this current iteration of the UT Crew roster. But nope, they've stuck together. They've come out much, much stronger from the experience, and now they're going toe-to-toe with one of what I would describe as sort of the best revelations we've had here in stage 2. Almost not necessarily on the level of Passion in Europe, because of course Passion have had one hell of a go of things in the European stage 2. They go flawless in their region, 7-0. But for this roster, I mean, it's just such a wild mix of players, right? I mean, you've got Jerd, Fellow, John, all of which have a variety of different stories. Fellow, who hasn't had the greatest start this season, you know, played on that Mr. Maps roster that had a terrible stage 1, to be frank. Jerd, who I think had a kind of mid-range go of things on that Team Z roster. Definitely impressed, though, that much is for sure. And then, of course, John, who was away for a very long period of time. They're joined by Gravity, who, of course, is of Wester fame, comes over, switches to the dark side in this Easter roster, and most certainly is having a good go of things here. And that's the thing as well. I think that now Gravity is on this roster, because you got to remember, there was a period of time with Wester where Gravity and Phantoms would have been on the same roster. They tried that for a week.
Yeah, they did.
Gravity has so much room to breathe here as the main AR role, and I think that's what you need. You need to make sure that Gravity's on the main AR role, because he fries with it, let me tell you that much.
Yeah, that was, I think, really questionable for a lot of people, thinking Gravity wants to, you know, play with Phantoms so bad, but both essentially play the exact same roles. So, who's willing to complement who? And it felt like, yeah, Gravity was the one that was willing to kind of play around and complement Phantoms after he was originally brought on towards that Western lineup and then not finding value. And of course, changes being made, as you said, and everyone kind of splitting off, going their separate ways. And it does feel like both still landed on their feet. Gravity with a new squad, Phantoms with his old squad. And now they battle up against each other to see who can maybe get the edge over the other as it comes down to the very last match of the season here for the two. But it is very interesting. I love the fact that you also bring up Fellow, who's someone who I feel like has had a very interesting career. I think we go back to where, World War II was a big year for him, where he got brought on towards, an EU roster. I think if I remember correctly, it was like Splice that he was brought onto because a player couldn't come over towards North America. He had to fill in and kind of prove his worth again, see if he can make his way back up towards the top after being on EU United. And then he's now bounced around the challenger scene throughout last year, playing on Triumph throughout the entire year, not getting a whole lot of success the first half, and then really turning up near the end, getting himself, the first place in Challengers Finals and showing, listen, I still got it. Gets picked up as the substitute for Dallas Empire, and now is looking to make some waves in towards the Challenger scene here again. So, yeah, it's been a really interesting kind of career, I feel like, for Fellow. And he's got a lot to prove. And I feel like for, a player like him, he wants to get back up in towards the CDL roster and show exactly what he can bring, because he's a very aggressive AR that has such a crazy shot and brings so much value towards your S&Ds. We saw it on the map, too, where he dropped, well over 13, 14 kills it was, just putting on an absolute show, and that just brings so much to a team like this that is already, filled with talent.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny, right? Because I think the most comparable player that I can think of that you could really talk about with Fellow is probably Morks. If you're, Morks is in that exact same position, right? Where he's an ex-professional player who is still trying to prove himself. And this is, I guess, a running theme here with North American Challengers generally. You have so many professional players that have made their way down to Challengers and are now finding their place. Even, going as far to say Temp, who is coming from the LA Thieves roster, now having to find his way inside Wester. I mean, that's not a bad place to be. That much
certainly is not
100% clear. But still, that is a running theme for challenges, especially in North America, with a lot of talent being cut at the end of year one of the Call of Duty League. But we now go into game number 5. It's finally ready. We're finally ready to get underway here, Austin. I'm so excited to get into this game 5. I have absolutely zero idea who is going to take this.
Yeah, that's right. If you didn't know much about the Call of Duty scene or the past history, Brody and I got you caught up on that. But yeah, got to get ourselves now in towards what will be a game 5. We have to have a decider. And this is such a big match. Again, have to emphasize, if we do, in fact, see this Easter squad win, they solidify first place. And, well, we're already in toward the round where it looks like Dylan Rex did take home play of the game. Assume this probably led towards the initial round win, as it looked to be a pretty quick round to kind of get in towards things here for us.
Rex made slight work of that. We didn't even see the round. It was so quick, as UT Crew going to swipe away round number 1. Again, I mean, given what we know about this map, it's not all that surprising that they did end up winning their defense to kick things off. But now they want to break serve early on here by taking the offense. Rex is getting so aggressive with the shots through the wall. He even put some shots into his teammate in Yeez. But interesting play here, actually, from Easter on the defense. They choose not to put somebody on that back chair, Hedy. They've got players on the steps instead. Okay, Rex, look, Rex, you put bullets in your teammate, then you stick a Semtex into him. That's not the best team play, is it, buddy?
Not the best play. And, well, we'll see if he can maybe make up for it. He is 3-0, but it would have to be a 2 versus 4 on the offense. Have to also get this bomb. Not that it should be too difficult of a position to try and retrieve it. Phantoms, he needs to take a challenge here versus Fellow. Challenge comes through. Tags him up, gets the info, but can't finish off the kill. And now you're in this situation where we talk about ARs kind of being the last ones left alive on Checkmate, having to kind of break through the plane with about 25 seconds left. Gravity gives a peek. Kill there for Phantoms. Does slip away, gets the regen. Here with his teammate as they're going to try to collapse, but John, he's going to find Rex, and now Phantoms would have to get the ace.
Let's put out Jerd here, puts the shots in. Of course, no kill to be made. Good trade coming in there. And Easter end up taking that round again. Not all that surprised considering they're playing on the defense, but you got to imagine that round goes a little bit better if Rex doesn't take out Yeast. A little bit of friendly fire coming in with the Semtex. An interesting strategy, actually, I want to bring up there coming out from Easter. That's not something we see that often, is them effectively giving up the full plane and instead opting to play it from the steps, not having anybody actually inside. That's a bit of a unique strategy from them there.
Well, very defensive map as we know it. We'll see if that changes in round 3. Easter back on the attack. Come off a pretty nice round number 2 here for themselves. Not really putting them on edge too much. Easy to be over by the stairs. Does get full stunned here. Gravity, though, in return, does eat a stun for himself. Nade goes out. Doesn't really find its mark. Shots going through. No one going down. Rex just toying with the fact that he might be able to get a free challenge here, but does have to be a bit careful considering Gravity and John both on this side of the map, but no one really finding a move just yet, getting a kill, but now we're about halfway through the round, and sooner or later, Easter, they're going to have to make a play.
Rex going to remove himself from Tetris for the moment. Back it up for Yeez. Fellow able to take out Phantom, so now Easter with the aggression hit. They have the numbers. Now they need to make it work. Gintroid is the player, if anybody, that's going to stop this for UT Crew. He's able to pick up the first kill. Jumps onto the table. Looking for the second. John going to win it. Still playing the numbers game. Are Easter here as Jerd does take out Yeez. Rex looking for the kill. Unable to find it. And Easter going to break serve in round number 3. They win the offense that they needed.
Oh, man, that was really bold because John looked like he wanted to be the one to make this play happen. And he had the bomb, so he had to kind of wait for someone else to at least assist him or make the first move. And Jerd's the one to finally do it. He gets pushed up enough after Fellow gets that first pick and just comes home with that beautiful 2-piece there at the end of round 3. We needed to see an offense go over, and Easter, they're able to deliver and put themselves ahead. And now we'll see if they can maybe convert for back-to-back rounds as they're back defending.
Need to see a response here from UT Crew, and once again we see that same strategy coming out from Easter where they have one player in John on the back stairs. This time though, John's getting aggressive early on. UT Crew, no control over the plane, but a lovely play. Semtex from Gintroid does take out John. They spot Fellow on the wing as well. That's going to mean Fellow's going to have to retreat. Take out Gravity, why don't you as well? UT Crew storm the plane. They've practiced this all the way back in Call of Duty 4, and now Easter in a 2 versus 4. What do you got for us?
Oh, Jerd gives away his position, and yeah, easy pickup. Easy brings it home. Fellow steps on a kill he maybe shouldn't have gotten, but doesn't exactly matter in the end. So we finally see an offense go over to Easter, and that's responded with quite quickly here from UT Crew as their push through the middle of the plane just works out. And it's just as soon as you get those kills in the plane, you know that they're not going to have 4 players in there. Well, they certainly shouldn't. And you get 2, that kind of gives you the confidence to drop that bomb down with ease. They find themselves around and tie things up here at 2 apiece.
That was a needed round from UT Crew, of course, losing the offense prior to that one. You want to break right back. They do exactly that. An interesting defensive play coming out from UT Crew, but John has their number. They didn't expect John to come up on the wing. John shuts down Gintroid, and that effectively dissipates the defensive line inside the plane. They're going to have to back all the way up here, Austin.
Oh, they sure will, and Rex is almost flirting with the idea of maybe trying to force a gunfight onto John, but Jerd close by with the Krig. Isn't going to make that easy, but Jerd's not going to make it easy on himself. Doesn't throw the best Semtex in the world. Lucky enough, escapes with his life. Meanwhile, Fellow able to also get another kill up on the board. Gravity needs to play his life here. He will do so, but here comes the challenge, and well, it's perfect. Easy cleans up 2. Phantom's right behind him, able to add in to a bit of assistance, but the bomb does go down as we get into the 2v2.
He's looking for this gunfight, facing down both players now, knows that this is a double challenge, goes for it, is going to lose it. Now Phantoms looking for the trade, will get one, turns for Jerd as well. Jerd going to get away. Phantoms has seen him through the plane, though. That's so smart to look out the window. Goes to the other side here. Phantoms just trying to guess where Jerd is going to come from. Phantoms makes the play call. A huge round there from UT Crew. You do not want to lose another defense, and Phantoms wins the 1 versus 2 clutch.
Oh, what a clutch, man. Phantoms just gives a little peek through the window, says, hey, how you doing? Let me just figure out where you're looking to go. And he tracks it beautifully. Once he realizes he doesn't go for the immediate hop up, he's coming in from the other side of the wing. Phantoms just reads it like a book. Big play to come out with a much-needed round. They will hold on towards this defense. That puts UT Crew in control by 1. As we're about halfway through this S&D, we go in towards a round number 6, and we'll see if UT Crew can maybe find some favor on another attack.
UT Crew now. Gonna to make their attack through the plane once again to B. Is it a surprise that we don't see any action over towards A? Absolutely not. Easter playing this one. And I really like this play from Easter, actually. They've learned, I think, from that prior round. They've actually put 2 players inside the plane now, both Fellow and John, ready for any given attack. And they're just peppering shots through the wall.
Double chow. One lays down, one up top, but Jerd goes back to his position. He's been playing in just about all defense long, and he finds himself a kill. So numbers advantage right now to Easter. 3 versus 2. Yeezy and Jintroid left alone to try and see if they can maybe clutch this one up as well. Jintroid getting a little mixy underneath the plane, has the bomb, so has to be a bit careful. We'll get a challenge from John. Plays his life there, gets help from Jerd. He's tagged up, he's one shot, but Yeezy gets there in time. They know where he is. Can Yeezy convert for 2? It would have to be a 1 versus 3 if he's able to see the light of day of another round, but he's only got 20 seconds to do it, and Jardy's right on his tail. Should be able to bring home the kill. Almost gets too close for comfort, but in the end, the kill comes in and tie it right back up at 3.
Jeez, man. Jeez. Come on, you can't be doing that to us. But good defensive setup there overall, I think, from Easter. You know, they adapted to what happened to them in the prior defensive round. They decide to push up inside the plane. Of course, Jerd in that power position where UT Crew aren't able to check it. Works out perfectly. Play the numbers game from there on out. And now we find ourselves in, once again, a tied situation. 3 for 3. This is looking more and more like our Miami Search and Destroy in game number 2. Which you don't want to jinx it just yet, but could well go the distance here in this game. So UT Crew once again on the defense, playing this one a little bit more reserved. John, thinking about where he wants to go next.
Just 4 and 4, but John's been able to open up this side a couple of times on offense. Did so in the last one, but wasn't able to bring home the rounds. And they've done now a couple of passive setups. A couple of wall bangs come in, just trying to figure out maybe where some of the players are located defensively. This is a really close and tight setup you can see here for the side of UT Crew. Everyone just around 2, back of the plane. No one really inside of this bomb site that you would typically have maybe Jintroid in. So John's allowed free access, and this very well will be a bomb plant.
John's going to get it down. So now UT Crew, how do you retake this one? Jintroid and Yeez are close by, but you got to get through the AR Fellow. You got to get through the SMG of John. And Rex, I think he's actually trying to get an angle from Tetris. You can see it as he does actually pick up gravity elsewhere. Yee's now coming on through the plane. The aggression is unwarranted though. Fellow able to trade on out. Jintroid has retaken the plane, and now they're just hunting for Jerd. Why not hop the bomb in this situation? Jerd is dead to rights anyway. That's a retake and a half from UT Crew.
That's just a lot of confidence from UT Crew, man. Like, there is not too many teams that are willing to give up the plane control to play for a retake. And the reason why, because it's the only bomb site you're ever going to hit. But it's this kill that kind of ignites it. Dylan Rex able to find Gravity, who's responsible for watching this entire lane. So once you open this lane up, you're free to kind of come up top on the plane. And Fellow looks like he goes for a bit of a weapon swap there. Not ready, but already weak. So easy pick up there for Rex. And slowly but surely they collapse. They take control, and they will be able to run over that post setup there for Easter. And that also puts them in the driver's seat here, Brody, up 4-3.
UT Crew now. Looking to break serve. What a time they would want to do it. Going 5-3 up. One hell of a power position to be in. Just looking for something here. We're on that right side here. Nobody inside the plane just yet. Easter going to be well aware of that. The aggression coming in from Jintroid. Fellow does deal with it though. If you can get gravity from the fin, that would be huge. Rex actually does it. But John inside the plane, that is a lot of pressure being mounted here from Easter. They're able to bring this offense down to just 2 players in Yeez and Phantoms.
You've seen Phantoms, they were in this situation before, and what do you know? Phantoms finds a kill. John answering back, gets the wall bang, but quick trade there for Yeezy. Jerd now, another 1v1. Yeezy brings it to him, but Jerd says no. The vet holds on. A big round to make sure that things stay tied up. You don't fall down 5-3. And once again, we are at a tie game as this one goes later and later here for us.
And I think that 1 versus 1, to be honest, we've seen that from Yeez, I think, quite a bit, where he ego challenges stuff like that. And I think Jerd expected it. To be honest, Jerd is one of the players that has played Yeez quite a bit. And he knows what Yeez is going to do there in that 1 versus 1. Just goes for the pre-aim, and why the hell not? As Yeez goes for the challenge and, of course, ends up losing it. So, Austin tied once again here. 4 for 4. UT Crew getting aggressive on the defense. Look at Yeez here in a power position. The shots have gone in, though. So Yeez is now going to, at the very least, know where John is. Picks up that first blood. Trade comes in, though. Gravity going to be responsible for that. But Easter... this offensive push has been slowed down to a snail's pace.
It sure has. You lost the bomb carrier. John falling down. Doesn't put the bomb in the best spots here. Jintroid gets a perfect angle on the challenge. And now you've lost Jerd as well. Fellow left all alone in the plane. Gravity typically playing slow. We know his play style. And he's going to have to be forced to try and push up. He does get the bomb. Fellow just looking for info. Does have a 74U in the back pocket, but 35 seconds left to try and work for a play. That nade gets great info. That's also going to slow things down for a few seconds. As you know, this hit has to come inside of B.
Fellow just waiting for UT Crew to make a move. Going for the preemptive shots. Isn't going to find anything just there. UT Crew stand resolute at the back of the plane, but Fellow does get one. Now with the aggression here, this would be a huge play if he can make it. Yeez, though, has his number. Now Gravity a 1 versus 2. There's just not enough time, realistically. Gravity's going to have to go for the Hail Mary play. They know where he is. All the shots that Gravity's putting in, and none of them connecting. UT Crew on match point here to put Easter into the knockout bracket.
Oh, Brody, coming down to the wire here for us. I mean, so much on the line. A lot of clutch plays. Easy taking over. The S&D star, man. Just doing what he does best. Finding individual plays, making them pay off. He started that round off hot, getting that kill to kind of ignite the entire play. And now UT Crew, a chance to put this one away. They have massive kill lead, so if it does go to around 11, it looks like they should be favored for a defense. But you want to end it here. You don't want it to go the distance if you're UT Crew. We'll see if they can do it. A bit of aggression coming right in towards the plane. John able to get good line of sight on towards the trophy here, so that means a couple of nades are free to come on in, but a second trophy will be put down as the bomb does work right on towards B. Cross has got to be watched right now for the back, but that's Fellow with the first kill, and that's going to make things much more difficult here for UT Crew.
That's bold. That's so bold from UT Crew to go straight for the plant, but now they've got to make the play here to make sure this doesn't go to round 11. Yeez is in a horrendous position, going to have to back on up for now. And now a moment to breathe here as Yeez looking to make this one work. Knows that there's a player around him. John is still there. And Yeez refuses to die, but Gravity takes out Phantoms, his former teammate. Yeez is going to fall as well. Rex for the 1 versus 4. He's going to fall. And Easter force a round 11 here, Austin. Game 5 between these two teams. Easter, they want that place in the playoff bracket.
I wouldn't have it any other way. No other way. We get a round 11 to decide if, in fact, Easter will lock in the first seed. But they are on the attack. We've seen both teams actually win a good amount of offenses. A lot of Easters came in the first half of the game, and things have not been as easy for them coming in towards the last half. But we'll see what they can do. Fellow, just a little spam just to make sure nothing fishy's happening on this defense coming through here for UT Crew. It is going to be pretty passive. Back towards that setup they did a few rounds ago where everyone is just kind of playing in behind the plane, in behind two, but just kind of in the back of the stairs. Just Jintroid inside here, playing a tight corner on their side. It's going to be Gravity. A couple of shots, just trying to find some information.
UT Crew have a player close by. That's going to be Jintroid. He's the person that can put a stop to this. John just spot out Rex over towards Tetris. He can make this play. It'll be huge. John does it. Snaps the head off Rex now. And now UT Crew, a man down here. Gonna have to play this a little bit more reserved. As Easter back on up. Are they contemplating what I think they're contemplating here? No way. No way, Jose. do they do this? If they get an A plant down, this is effectively impossible to defuse. John's going for it. Yee's gonna go into the tube. John gets the plant down on A. What is this? This is a 1 in a million thing. You never see it, but now a retake potentially coming on through. It all falls on the shoulders of Jintroid. A 1 versus 2. The bomb in a horrible place. Easter make the Hail Mary play. You see that once in a blue moon. And Easter, they make it happen for us here in round 11. They're going through to the playoff bracket. They take first place here in the round robin stage.
Talk about the vets. Talk about making a bold decision like that one. And in the end, it pays off massively. Just, you never expect a round 11, and Yeezy does kind of just go over to scout things out, figure out, are they really doing this? He gets shrugged off a tube, and yeah, they really are doing this. They dropped the bomb. Allen, what a barn burner that we just got.
All I could say is that just takes me back immediately to like when I was a child. N64, queue up NFL Blitz. It's 4th down and 36, and you're saying, queue up the bomb. You know that reference? You stay true to yourself there, friends. That is unbelievable. Hail Mary for sure, but let's take a look back at this best of 5 map set because, well, you guys said you wanted to cast over some of the Apocalypse Hardpoint. You got a full Apocalypse Hardpoint. Then a full round 11, 2 rounds in a row for Easter, and oh my goodness, the brazen play to go for the A plant with a 4v3 situation, absolutely unreal. But it all started with what looked to be UT crew coming out swinging. 100-point club in Easter off the opening 250 to 85. Round 11 in both of our search and destroys, which both of them did go over to Easter's direction. And the control also a 3-0 for Easter. But my goodness, we have some maps in here that will keep peeling eyeballs and keep scratching heads for sure. Visions, I think it's just I got to get your reaction first and foremost off that Apocalypse Hardpoint. I mean, let's be honest, it came down to the wire. Streaks almost locked things up, but UT crew looking really good in the Hardpoint, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, they looked really good. I mean, the first map, they took 250 to 85, and this one, the same thing kind of follows suit, just a lot closer overall. And I think it just comes off the back end of UT crew understanding that they need to play the upper half of the map and play around the temple, right? Just putting their ARs in constant power positions is what led them to that victory on Apocalypse. But it was still very scrappy the whole way through. We saw a lead change happen, I feel like, what must have been like 14 times because it was just so back and forth. And it was a lot of moments where it felt like, oh, this is where Easter looked to close things out here, right. And it just didn't come through.
Infinity, you said John's name more times than maybe his parents have in the last, who knows, his entire life. What were your general reactions to seeing John kind of coming into form? Because let's be honest, there's a lot of spotlight on, can he get back into a pro league form? I don't know. For my money, I think he kind of definitely proved there's definitely an argument to be made.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen John from week number 1 come in here and play extremely well with this roster. There are so many questions that can be asked of John, but one of them is definitely not, is he good enough? Because he absolutely is. He has proven his worth time after time after time. And in this series, I mean, you're right. I said his name so much because he just had a stellar series. Even in in the game number 1, where maybe you expected the ARs to really come out and play well, John was playing well. He with a sub on checkmate, for heaven's sake. John is just doing John things. He is an incredible addition to this lineup, and I'm really excited to see what he's able to bring to the lineup as we go into playoffs.
Absolutely unreal stuff. Playoffs, again, that will be coming next week for us overall. We mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. It was unfortunate for Higher and Aerial Arias, still with 1 match to play, that they were still out of contention of getting out of relegation, but a lot to be said about what just happened here, because Easter, with that win, they hold the head-to-head tiebreaker over Fantastic Four, but those 2 teams will be your playoff squad. So with that in mind, knowing who's made it to playoffs, who has been relegated, and of course the 4 in the middle, Vision's final thoughts on the day overall.
Final thoughts is that one, John is back. We're all happy to see that, but there's also a lot of other factors. I still feel like we're in a spot where just because the 2 top teams are locked in doesn't mean those are going to be the teams that come out with the dub here in stage 2. There's still a lot that can happen, a lot of talent, a lot of teams starting to figure things out the later and later we go. UT crew, sure, they fall short, but things certainly came together here for them in week 2, as well as subliners. I think a squad to watch out for as they've taken a lot of wins. So we'll see if they can maybe make a dent going in towards that playoff rocket there next week.
Infinity, recap from yourself.
Yeah, I feel like we've got the 6 best teams here in North America still alive in this tournament, whether in the playoffs or whether in the knockout bracket. Of course, there's just so many interesting storylines to take away from here. I mean, of course, Wester, they've been forced into a new roster change. They now have to prove themselves again as they look to improve for a week number 3 for that knockout bracket. You've got New York Subliners Academy still looking to improve themselves, of course, bringing Hydra onto the roster, and then the new kids on the block, right? Fantastic for this new roster. You've got Easter, this new roster, both teams looking stellar. There is a reason that these two teams have made playoffs, and it's going to set up a really interesting storyline, I think. Is it going to be the teams that dominated stage 1 in Wester and New York Subliners Academy coming out on top for week number 3, or will Fantastic Four and Easter stay strong? It is going to be just incredible. I cannot wait to see what happens.
Well, gentlemen, a pleasure, of course, sharing the microphone and the web space here with you guys, but we have to say farewell for now. Coming up next week, you're not going to want to miss anything going on right here in the main channel, because that's knockout bracket first, playoff bracket second on Tuesday and Wednesday. In Europe, well, some favorites got worked around, some new possible strengths have been shown. The same can be said about North America when it comes to new rosters and fresh faces. We'll see who comes out on top next week.